Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you are car shopping now or in the next 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. My name is Deshone the Auto Advisor. That's what I'm publicly known as. And all we do here is make sure that you know how to pay less than everyone else for cars. I'm very big on that. We spent the last 3 years helping people do this. And I spent 14 years in the car business before I started this. So I want you to start typing your questions. It's very important that when you're on this broadcast, you are locked in. Block out everything else. There's a lot of stuff in this world that wants to distract you. When you are distracted, you pay more money. That is what happens. When you are distracted, you pay more money. The people who get the savings, the people who know how to pay hundreds, thousands less than everyone else are locked in. So if you're locked in, I want you to type the lock emoji, or I want you to just type locked in, and we're going to get the show on the road. This entire broadcast is brought to you and sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy in your inbox immediately for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. When you visit the site, in my TikTok bio or in my Instagram bio, you'll see a button to activate the 75% off. You won't pay the $97. In YouTube, you guys will see a comment posted for you guys. I have a link pinned for you. And if you're on Facebook, if you're watching, I have a link for you floating. You can click that and that'll activate your 75%. But it's only for 30 minutes and you'll have the entire blueprint of everything we're going to discuss today. So while you guys are typing your questions, start typing your questions. Start typing your questions. I want to talk to you about the process. Thank you, Kelly. Good to see you. The process that we use to get below market leases, new cars, and used cars. Now, I know that might sound foreign to you. The idea of having a car shopping process may sound foreign because you may be used to winging it. Oh, I just feel my way around it. I hope I do okay. That is not a recipe for success, and you're not going to accidentally get a below market price. It's just not going to happen. You don't accidentally pay less than everyone else. You don't do that by winging it. And what I want to show you is how you can do this without being a good negotiator. So we use a 7-step process. That's why my book is called Cars from Home. You can already hear our process is at home. Who likes being at home? Hit the like button if you would rather spend time shopping at home than in a dealership. Hit the like button. Our process is called Cars from Home for a reason. All of your leverage, all of your control is from home. There is no power in the dealership. That's why the only time we're in the dealership is to look at cars, to test drive, and to go home. That is what we are there for. To look at cars, test drive, go home. We are never there to buy or negotiate because you have no leverage in the car dealership. So all of you, if you're like Deshone, I'm glad. Like, I hate being in car dealerships. You're going to love what we talk about over the next hour if you lock in. If you lock in. Again, if you're locked in, I want you to type the lock emoji, or I want you to type locked in, because I only want to talk to the people. I'm only talking to you. There's tons of people that's going to come through this broadcast. They know they're buying cars this week, this month, next month. They just going to wing their way through it, and they can't lock in. And I pray that we can get them to lock in so that they can see. Because listen, watch this. What y'all going to see me sharing throughout this whole show is really the people who've been locked in before you guys. Look, people like Adina. She just graduated, got her 2024 Hyundai Elantra. She decided the lease was the best way to go for her. She's paying $365 a month, no money out of pocket. $365 a month. I know people right now. In fact, this reminds me when I was young, when I had my first, I got a Pontiac G6 lease. It was $256 a month. A friend of mine bought a car just like this, a Toyota Corolla. They were paying $500 a month. So you talk about 365, 500 and change. These are major. And now to buy a Toyota Corolla would probably be more like close to the $600 a month to buy a new one. So we're going to talk a lot about our structure here. So let's get into it. Dolan, I see we're getting questions, but let me, as we get the questions, let me, matter of fact, let's go. We'll start with the questions. No, bring it up. Because as quick as people type questions, I'll get to them. So this one's from TikTok. I practice what you preach. lease and get the lowest payment and under warranty, it's great. I'll stay there all day at the dealership until I get my price. See, now that's the only part. I love the first part of what you said. The second part, we don't do. And I'm going to tell you why. You don't know what the bottom is. Every dealership's bottom is different. And what they want you to do is they want you to think, again, if this is your first time on a live with me, I want you to type the number 1. Type the number 1 if this is your first time ever on a live stream with me, with us, first time. You may not be familiar with what we teach here. So let's get this out of the way. I don't spend time in car dealerships, and I teach people not to. I'm going to tell you why. Welcome, Kellyanne. Okay, welcome. You came in giving gifts, and I appreciate you. So check this out. Here's why you never want to be in a car dealership negotiating. You don't know what the bottom is. Every dealership's bottom is different. I know they may have told you every Nissan dealer is the same. It's like the Apple store. So just go to whichever one's closest. That's not true. Every dealership is independently owned and operated. They're an independent franchise and they're competing. That is what dealerships do. So here's the dangerous part. Here's the dangerous part about negotiating with one dealer. So you take somebody who, what do y'all think is a good, let's just say, right? Example. Let's take a car that is $40,000 car. What do you think a good discount would be on that? What do you think a discount where you'd be like, okay, I think that feels right. Let's throw out some numbers. I told you, stay by your keyboard, y'all. Let's go. Let me talk to people that's locked in. You're looking at a $40,000 car. What do you think a good discount is on that? Good discount. Just throw a number out there. Some people don't know. 35, okay. $5,000 off. Okay. We'll get to you, Theo. I see you. Okay. $5,000 off. Okay. Let's go. Kelly Jean, you locked in today. I'm okay. $2,000 off. Okay, Atlanta lawyer. Okay. Now watch this. So somebody said 2,000 off. Somebody said 5,000 off. Watch this. Now Tiffany gets a $40,000 vehicle. Look, MSRP was $44,820. She got $6,538, $30 off. Now let me tell you how she guarantees that's the best deal. Multiple offers. If you're in a dealership where the market price of the vehicle is everyone's charging $5,000 over sticker, $3,000 over sticker, $8,000 over sticker, then maybe a $2,000 discount is the best in the market. But there's no way for you to know that without multiple offers. Like, look at Eddie. Eddie was shopping for a Toyota. He bought it. This was last year. He bought it and he said, look, I went with the perfect purchase route, which is a strategy I teach. 2023 Toyota Camry hybrid with all the bells and whistles. Initial quotes were over 10,000 over MSRP. So if any of you are familiar with this vehicle, the Toyota Camry hybrid, dealers were charging people ridiculous money, and they still are. He ends up getting a $2,086 discount after he looked at multiple offers. That is the name of the game. You can't, because now let me show you a little bit more of why we must get multiple offers. You can't feel for the bottom. Look at this. When you look at somebody like Kimberly shop, she gets a matter of fact, oh no, we just had somebody I want to share with y'all because she saved more money than anyone else I've ever seen. Did I bring her deal in here? Did I bring her deal in here? Hold on one second. Yes, I did. So this is Milligan. This was last week. It was a couple days ago. She gets a 2024 Mercedes EQE. It has a $79,000 list price. $79,000 list price. Now, if she would have went in there and said, well, I'm just going to negotiate my way in, and I'm just going to, let's say she got $8,000 off, $10,000 off. Who would feel like that was a good deal? You go in, you're looking at a $79,000 Mercedes. You know, does your gut tell you that's a good deal or you want more? 10,000 off. Let's say 15. 15 off. And is that a good deal? Come on, tap in with me, y'all. Talk to me. Talk to me. I want y'all to know, because we don't do. I want y'all to know that I'm conservative with what I'm about to tell you. But I need you to hammer this point into your head that negotiating with a dealer is a losing battle when you're negotiating in there. So all right. So Jimmy said yes. I see you. Kelly said yes. 15 grand sounds like a good discount. I would feel good about that. Milligan paid $56,000. If you're on YouTube and if you're on Instagram, you can see it on the screen. She sent me her paperwork. This is what I do. So this is literally, people send me their deals. People who I work with around the country, whether you have my book, whether you're in my program, people send me their deals all the time. She paid 50. She saved almost $30,000 on this vehicle. Brand new vehicle. So what does that tell you? Had you gone in there and agreed to a $15,000 discount, you would have left thinking you did okay, which is the point I want to make before we wrap this question up. The name of the game with car sales, and I did this for 14 years, is not that you win. It's to make you think you won. The name of the game with car sales is to make you think you won. It is a psychological game that when you're negotiating one-on-one with dealers, it's impossible for you to you can't win. So when you step outside and you start to sit back like we do and shop from home, and you learn how to look at the market the way I teach, the way you're going to learn, the more you tap in here, you will understand that your money and your leverage is at home, putting dealers against each other. Not going into one dealer and saying, okay, how much can you take off? Okay, who got that? Type $ if that point makes sense. You cannot feel for the bottom. You cannot say, oh, okay, that sounds good. 3,000 off. That sounds good. 10,000 off. That sounds good. 20,000 off. You can't say that on any vehicle. Now, sometimes your best discount in the market is 8,000. Sometimes your best discount is, like you saw Tiffany a little while ago, 6,000, 6,500. But the only way you can guarantee that that's the best offer in the market is to be at home looking at 5 to 7 offers. And in my book, I teach a strategy called the 25 to 5, where we connect with 25 dealers online, and it literally takes us 20 minutes. I have all email scripts that you send. There's no talking. We use this for new cars and leases. And literally, you will get 5 quotes. That 25 to 5 get you 5 to 7 written offers so that you can see what the market is. And you're going to be amazed to see that the best offer to the worst offer is so far apart. When you're looking at these 5 to 7 offers, you're going to be like, wow, how could these dealers be so different? Because 80% of them are overpriced. So when someone tells you, hey, Tiffany, that's my best offer. Hey, Taryn, that's my best offer. Barbara, Ken, my best offer. They may not be lying to you. That's their best offer. We need their competition's best offer. And that's how we make sure we guarantee the bottom price. If Milligan would have settled for $15,000 off, she would have left another $13,000 on the table. We can't leave that kind of money on the table. Okay. So yes, I love that you seem to understand about leasing, the person who shared this question. But what I don't love is being in dealerships negotiating. I do not do it. I don't teach to do it. We stay at home and we make people bid for our business. That is the game. Okay. All of this is inside my new digital book, guys. You can see it. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And you can see, Josh, I have a support email everywhere. You can see it on my screen. Every time I do a live, I have a support email. When you purchase the book, literally on the thank you page, as soon as you pay, as soon as you get your 75% off, it literally says, screenshot this page. And it says, here's my support team's email, just in case you may have typed the email in wrong. And it says, click the link below to open up your book. So you can open it right there on the thank you page, save it to your phone or your computer, and I email you a copy. So DM me. If you don't see the support team email, we share it everywhere. We share it everywhere. I don't want to share it here live publicly, but DM me and we'll share it. We'll share it so you can have it. All right. Hey, Deshone, I drive 31,000 miles a year. Can I still get a lease driving that much? Theo, great question. So let's talk to high mileage drivers. If you drive more than 18,000 miles a year, I want you to type HM for high mileage. Now, here's what's important for you to understand. And what I love about the way you ask this question, Theo, is you're asking to understand. You're not asking with assuming an answer. So check this out. If you drive 18,000, all right, I see you high mileage drivers. If you drive 18, I see you Toussaint. You have to think about something other people don't. This is how vehicles normally lose value. This is what I call the unseen expense. You must understand this. This is what I call car buying 101, depreciation. So the people who don't understand leasing or who tell you not to lease, they don't understand depreciation. They say things like, well, I don't like to lease because I want to drive as much as I want to drive. Here's the thing. You pay for your usage whether you buy or lease. Give you an example. Let's say you buy a vehicle today for $40,000. What's that vehicle worth in 1 year, everybody? Let me ask you. Throw a number out. You buy a vehicle today for $40,000. What is it worth in 1 year? Average miles driven, 12,000 miles per year. What is that vehicle worth? Is it still worth 40? Is it still worth 40? No. Right, exactly. 33. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to the people that's not distracted. 33. Look. So now that's a good estimate. You look and you say, all right, that's 40. This is 33. That's 1 year of time I lost $7,000. Had nothing to do with the fact you bought the car. I thought you didn't pay for stuff if you bought it. I thought you could drive as much as you want when you bought it. So let's throw a curveball in for the high mileage driver, because this is the point we're making. What happens if you drive 20,000 miles? What's the car worth? What's the car worth? Instead of average miles, where like, okay, it'd be worth 30. You drive 20,000 miles, it's probably worth 30. Instead of 33, it's probably worth 30. You lost 10 grand of value. So the more you drive, the more you depreciate your vehicle. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter if you leased or bought. If you buy a vehicle for 40 and you put 100,000 miles on it in a year, that vehicle's worthless. You go around and you try to sell it, it's probably going to be worth $12,000 or whatever, $15,000. You destroyed the value with the amount of mileage you drive. So now once you see that, now you can get that, all right, I'm not off the hook just because I paid for my car and I didn't lease it. I lose in the form of depreciation depending on how I use this vehicle. So that's the basis for us to discuss leasing versus buying. And when you look at leasing versus buying, here's what we're asking ourselves. This is step one in my book. We don't do anything else until we pass this step. How many years are you keeping the next vehicle? How many years are you keeping your next vehicle? Type into the chat. Those of you who are shopping, I want you to answer this. How many years are you keeping your next vehicle that you're going to be shopping for? 8 or more, or less than 8? This is called the 8-year rule. See, I get a lot of people, and I see a lot of you ask, hey, I'm looking at a Porsche Macan. Should I lease or buy? I'm looking at a Rolls Royce. Should I lease or buy? I'm looking at a Honda Civic. Lease or buy? It's the same answer. How many years are you keeping the vehicle? Because here's what you need to realize. You're going to lose the most value in 5 to 7 years. But after 5 to 7 years, after 7 years, the depreciation cools off and you start losing little value. Who has a vehicle outside they've had for more than 10 years? Type me. You got a vehicle in your driveway right now. You've had it for more than 10 years. I want you to type me in the comments. And we don't get many people nowadays. People are not keeping vehicles that long anymore. Okay, I see. Kelly Jean has one. Tiny Boy, I see you. All right, Naturally Dope. Okay. If you got a vehicle right now in your driveway, you've had it for more than 10 years, type me. Okay, I see you, just be you. All right. All right. These are called long-term. Look, been 18 years next month, naturally dope. Now, here's what's beautiful about them. Their depreciation is like this. What does that mean? Whatever their vehicle is worth today is probably going to be worth the same thing next year. I see you, E. Valentine. That means you beat depreciation. See, there's only two ways to beat it. Long-term ownership like them, or with a below market lease. You cannot buy a vehicle, have it lose value for 5 to 7 years, turn around and replace it and think you won. That's just not the way it works. You bought it for 40, you traded it and it was worth 15, and you thought you won. You lost $35,000 or $25,000 in that time period. Was there a way we could have gotten that car or a similar car and lost less than $25,000 in that time period? This is what we're trying to do when we're beating depreciation. So if you are a long-term person, those of you who said, yeah, hey, Jose got 10-year Cadillac, had it from 2011, perfect. If that's your plan, you don't think about leasing. But if your spouse says, I don't want to keep a car that long, I don't see myself keeping a car that long, then they shouldn't be thinking about purchasing because they're going to lose in depreciation. So now when you look at what a lease is you have an opportunity to overpay. There's 3 types of leases: market value, above market value, below market value. If you pay market value or above market value, you lost. You lost. Market value or below market value, you lost. If you're enjoying this on TikTok, can y'all just double tap the screen? Just start tapping the screen. You're going to see the likes run up, and y'all just keep running them up. And what that does is it lets TikTok know we talking business over here, brings more people. If you're enjoying it on Facebook and YouTube, can you hit the share button, tag a friend in here so we can help them protect their money? This is about below market lease deals because you've seen commercials that say, hey, you can lease this vehicle for this, $5,000 down plus tax. Those are above market lease values or market value. When you see lease deals that look like this, and this is why I show you people who came before you. Danielle, $44,000 Audi, 2024, no money down, $550 a month. No money down, $44,000 Audi. You guys know, some of you know, every $5,000 on a loan is about $100 per month. So to buy that $44,000 Audi with no money down, we always shop our deals with no money down. And once you embrace what I'm telling you, you'll be shopping with no money down only. That doesn't mean we don't put money down, but we always shop all our deals, purchases, leases, used cars with no money down. Because when you start putting money down, it confuses you. Unless you're really, really good at math. If you're really great at math, then it won't. But if you're not great at math and you start putting money down, it's going to confuse you because you really don't know the deal you're getting. You only are focused on what is that monthly payment. So that's why we shop with no money down. But to buy this same vehicle with no money down for a $44,000 vehicle, that's a $900 payment on a 5-year loan. That's a $900 payment, $800 payment on a 6-year loan. She's paying $550 below market lease. Look at Kimberly. She saved 20 grand on her Maserati, below market lease, an $86,000 vehicle, $950 a month. $86,000 vehicle, $950 a month. Charles on his Palisade. Some of you have a Palisade. It's $48,000 vehicle. 48, almost $50,000 vehicle. That's $1,000 a month to buy. All day long, 5-year loan. And some of you, if you're like Deshone, well, I got a $50,000 vehicle and it wasn't $1,000. That means you took a long loan. So we don't do that here. We don't take 8-year loans. We just don't do it. It's the same reason we don't take 40-year mortgages. We have boundaries here that tell us this is too expensive for us. So anyone can get you in a car. You could go buy a Bentley. They give you a 190-month loan. You'll be able to afford it. That don't mean it was a good deal. So we cap our loans at 672 months. We will not go longer than that. That is the longest loan we take. So you look at what this would have cost Charles. Hyundai Palisade, $48,000. That's $1,000 a month payment. What is he paying? $597. And you got people like Zafrina who just killed it. Look, $65,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $579 a month. That's a 0.88% lease. These are below market leases. So when you're shopping for a below market lease, you are beating depreciation. Had they bought any of these vehicles, the vehicles would have depreciated way more than the small monthly payments they're paying to drive these vehicles. And then we look at Jen. Jen got an 18,000 mile a year lease. She bumped hers up to 18,000. Started out at 512 on her Honda CRV. Bumped it up to 18,000. Look, she went from 12,000 miles per year to 18,000 miles per year. It was literally 40 something dollars more per month, $50 more per month. So some of you see people and you're like, oh, they blame the lease for their mistakes. Oh, I didn't get enough mileage, so I ain't leasing again. The problem was you didn't get the mileage you needed because you let pennies stop you from actually having a good lease experience. Instead, you saw the payment for 12 and they said, well, if you want 15, it's $25 more per month. And you said, all right, well, give me the 12. Now you have a bad lease experience. You have a penalty because you didn't get the mileage you needed. That wasn't a smart thing to do. But blaming the lease is an even worse thing to do. So we always get the mileage we need. So Theo, when we look at now that you understand depreciation, you understand you buy a vehicle, you're killing the value. You're driving 31,000 miles per year. But if you bump your lease up, and I want you to shop for your leases with 12,000 miles, no money down, only first month's payment, taxes and fees in the payment. You get multiple offers. You need to get at least 5 to 7 offers. You could do it manually. You want to call around? You could do that. I do it, and I teach in my book. We do it without talking. Literally everything we do is email. We don't talk to car salesmen. And I'm a former car salesman. So trust me, when I tell you my system is you don't talk to car salesmen, it's better for them and you. When you go pick up your cars from the way we teach, the car sales people are thanking you. They're like, man, this was one of the quickest, easiest deals I ever made. You knew what you wanted. You sent me an inquiry. You gave me enough information to make the deal. We did it in 20, 30 minutes. This was great. I would never develop a system that would make car sales people work hard. It's easy. They love what we do. But at the same time, you got to find the right dealers. And you got to understand, all right, I have to shop with 12,000 miles per year first, and then let me get my best offers. You know, we teach something called the 1.5% rule. We divide the monthly payment into the MSRP. In my book, I have a calculator that does this for you. So literally, when you get my book, 75% off in my TikTok bio, 30 minutes, Instagram bio, 30 minutes, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, you see the link floating. You got 30 minutes to get the book for 75% off, so you won't pay $97. In there, I have calculated, you put your lease quotes into, and it literally spits out which one is the best, and it spits out counter offers that we email back to them. So once you do that, you find your best deal. Is it 1%? Is it less than 1% like Zafrina's? Is it 1.2, 1. As long as it's under 1.5, out of all your offers, you need to have 5 to 7 offers. If it's under 1.5, now you got good value. And now you ask them to adjust it up to 31,000 miles per year. You can absolutely do a high mileage lease. And you are going to spend less if you're a short-term driver. So I told you guys, if you were on the stream the other day, I talked about the guy that came in. He's the one taught me this, a customer. When I worked at Hyundai, I was a manager for a little bit. He came in, he had a high mileage lease on a Hyundai Sonata. I had never seen it. He had 72,000 miles on the car. And I was like, hey, you leased this? He said, yeah, I always lease. I'm in sales. He said, I used to buy my cars. I would always have negative equity. I had to do big down payments. I hated it. I started doing just a high mileage lease. He was only paying like $150 a month more than the normal lease for 25,000 miles a year. So instead of coming in with $10,000 or $12,000 of negative equity because he put so many miles on the car, he pays $150 more, drives as much as he wants to drive, comes back every 3 years, gets a new vehicle. He's not tying up money in these vehicles. Now, for those of you who are going to be long-term, like the people who we just shouted out about 8, 9, 10 minutes ago, that is the deal. You do not lease. You're going to buy, keep that vehicle until the wheels fall off. That's the win. But if you're not keeping your vehicles 8 years, you're overspending by thousands of dollars not leasing. And we prove that over and over and over and over here. I want you to get from being stuck in the middle, either get to the lease side or get to the long-term owner side. Get out of the middle. That's where the depreciation hits are. That's where you lose in resale. That's where you overspend by thousands, and I need you out of there. Okay, that's a great question, Theo. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's shoot the next one in. Keep typing your questions, y'all. Could y'all keep tapping the screen on TikTok and keep running the likes up? Every time you hear something you like, either hit the like button or the share button. If you're like, man, you know what? Because at the end of the day, look, it's only a couple people that help us move this mission forward. I appreciate it. There's a couple. I love the people who tap in, but I really appreciate the people who share, tell their friends. I see you. Okay? I see you, and I appreciate it. Let's go. Okay, this one's from Instagram. If you negotiate with the manager, can you save because you're cutting out the sales guy? No. When you negotiate with a manager, I'm just trying. If I didn't have my way of doing it totally online by email, then I would be calling sales managers, and I'd only be dealing with sales managers. I'd be talking to at least 5. I'd be talking to as many sales managers as necessary to get 5 offers. And this is only for new cars and leases. The process for used cars is entirely different. We haven't had a question about that yet, so I'm not going to go into detail with it. But the process for shopping for used cars is totally different because that's based on marketplaces. But when we are talking and we're shopping for new cars and leases, we're only dealing with, I would only deal with managers if I wasn't doing it by email. But yeah, that's not going to help you save. What's going to help you save is getting multiple offers and seeing who's the best offer. Seeing which the first thing we want to decide when we look at a car. I was at the gym today and one of my friends showed me, hey, D, man, I'm looking at this car right here. This Lexus dealer had it on their showroom floor. I said it's 100 of them in the country. See, you fall in love with that one, and you seem to think, that's the only car out here like this, and whatever I can negotiate with them is great, man. 100 of those cars are around the country. 100. Maybe 30 of them are within 100 miles of you. My mission and your mission is to find which dealer is going to sell that car for the lowest price. That's the mission. It's very simple. And it's very simple when you're doing it from home. Very simple. We don't negotiate with one car. They're cookie cutter. I don't care if you're looking at the rarest Bentley. There's still a couple of them in the country. Because the more, when a dealer can make you think we're the only ones with this car, they can charge you what they want to charge you. And you're going to say things that are going to be like, charge me more. What does that mean? Oh, man, I ain't seen this one before. Okay, ching, cash register. You say stuff. See, I'm a former car salesman, and thank God he's put me here to do good in this world. And he's given me a heart to help people, and I just never had the heart to take advantage of people. I know the business like the back of my hand. I've been a manager at Ray Katina. We had to run our own deals. Most car salespeople have no idea what I'm talking about. Me and my friend, we were just talking about this because the places we worked at, we had a different standard. We had to know the numbers. We ran the program. Ray Katina didn't have finance managers. A car salesman who just runs back and forth, no disrespect, but you don't know what we're talking about here. You say, all right, get the customer, go get the numbers. Get the customers, go get the numbers. You won't get that. But at the end of the day, that is like this. When I tell you that when you start putting dealers against each other, it's the only way for you to prove to yourself what I'm telling you is true. I can show you people all day long. I can show you Jen. I can show you Rosalie. I can show you these people ain't me. These people wasn't in the car business for 14 years. Ansley, look, got his car in 2 days. Look, he said I started the process Saturday, made the deal Monday. Got him a 2024 QX60 Lux $58,000 vehicle, $554 a month at home. At home. He wasn't in the dealership for 12 hours to get this ridiculous price. I can show you this all day long, but until you see that the name of the game is putting dealers against each other, and when you see how much you're going to save, you'll never go back to the old way. You'll never go back to the old way that you were programmed to shop. You weren't taught to shop that way. You were programmed to shop that way. Nobody taught you to shop like that. It just was like, oh, I guess I'm going to go get a car. Let me go into the dealership. No one told you to do that. It's an indoctrination process. So you got to get the mindset first. Biggest thing. That's why that's why there's a couple things that I do to let you know it's mindset first. Without the mindset, you can't get what we're talking about. Unlearn, relearn. That means you got to unlearn what you were taught. You got to unlearn what you do. If it's not working, unlearn it. You can't relearn it until you dump the old stuff. Cars from home. That's the mindset. That's the mindset. Anytime you're spending more than a couple minutes in a dealership, you got to ask yourself, I'm definitely not doing cars from home. This doesn't feel like cars from home. If you're home more, then you should be feeling like, okay, this is cars from home. And all of this is in my, if you like, guys, you don't want to remember all of this, you just want the step-by-step blueprint, that is my new digital book. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments for the next 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, price goes back up to $97. And it is worth every penny at $97. People saving $5, $10, $15, $20,000, never spending more than 30 minutes in the dealership. They pay $97 all day. We sold tons of books for $97, but $24 is better. So go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. All right. This one's CPB013. Is the online price the lowest they will go on a used car? All right, so this is a good question. Is the online price the lowest they will go on a used car? If I've narrowed it down and I see a car that is priced lower than everything else on a used car, now we're talking about my multiple marketplace strategy, because this is how we look for used cars. We're looking at all the marketplaces. Everywhere there are used cars at, we're looking at them. Cars.com, Carfax, Car Gurus, Auto Trader, CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, eBay Motors. 8 marketplaces. We open these up, we start our accounts. Once we narrow it down based on title, service records, accident history. We cannot, hold on. I got a feel TikTok is telling me, let me just, hold on. Can y'all still see me on TikTok? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a 1 if y'all can still see me on TikTok. Give me a 1. I just want to make sure. I just had a pop-up message on TikTok. All right. Thank you, Tiny Boy. Appreciate it. Okay, so you do not buy a used car without making sure you see the service records. There are a couple big things, couple major things when you're buying a used car you need to do besides price. I'm telling you this. We tend to focus on price. We must get a quality car and a below market price. One without the other is a loss. If you tell me, Deshone, man, I used your strategies, I shop, I paid below market value, I know it, I saw this was the lowest car within 100 miles, but the car is in the shop every 3 to 6 months, that's a problem. We lost. So we must get both. So we narrow this down based on service records. As of right now, Carfax is the only one I know that shows service records. So now you can pull this and you can use this on your actual, you can use this as a last case when you narrow it down. Now in my book, it's only one strategy I don't share publicly. It's my secret strategy to get free Carfaxes. I share everything else, but that's my secret sauce. So that's in my book. I'm not going to do that here. And I'm going to tell you why. One Carfax covers the price of the book. So, those of you who want my secret strategy on getting free Carfaxes, that's in my book. But once we get the Carfax, we can see the service records. If the service records aren't consistent, do not buy the car. That's my recommendation. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care if he tells you, hey, I used to change the oil. I changed it myself. Without proper service records, the engine could go before it was supposed to go. The transmission could go before it was supposed to go. Like, this is literally the worst thing you can do. And you don't want that. Okay, let that be a deal breaker. No service records, deal breaker. So another thing you do is you type the vehicle into Google. If you're looking at a 2017 Kia Optima, what you do is you type in 2017 Kia Optima reliability. Skim the articles. Just skim the first page. It don't take you 5 minutes. Look for any red flags. Owners report electric issues. This vehicle has less than average reliability. Once you skim that and you see you're either going to eliminate that vehicle or it's going to pass, after you do that, I want you to type in 2017 Kia Optima longevity. Now you're going to see websites that look at engines and transmissions and what owners say in the long term. And it'll say these vehicles may last 200 to 300,000 miles. This is how you get quality. Again, you cannot get a great price and then not a quality vehicle. It's a loss. We got tons of people, you may have had that issue. You felt like you were doing good, and then all of a sudden your car's having problems. Whatever price you paid for it doesn't matter. The car's having problems. So this is how we prevent that to the best of our ability. So you type in longevity, you may see owners report transmission issues at 80, 90,000 miles. If you're looking at a vehicle with 70,000 miles, isn't that important? Type dollar sign if you understand. If you're looking at a used car and it has 60,000 miles, you do that quick search I just said, and it says owners report transmission issues at 80, 90,000 miles. Wouldn't you want to know that? Quick search. This is 10 minutes to say this is free. Free things that take no time, that save you thousands of dollars and headaches and money and all of this. So now, once that's happening, we look at the prices. Now we look and say, all right, is this the lowest price on the market? All right. Are they going to charge any fees? This is what we need to know, CPB. Because some people will put a price online. Who's experienced that? Who's had a dealer that they saw a price online, they went in, and then it was a different price? Type me if you've had that happen to you. You saw a price online, you said, okay, price looks good. You go in, all of a sudden it's okay, but this and this, and then we got this, and then we got this, and next thing you know, you're $8,000 more than the price online. Happens all the time. How do we prevent that? We call before we go. We must verify fees before we go. So when I look at a price online, CPB, you got to understand something. There's two types of dealers. There's dealers who list used cars and they have no intention to sell the car at that price. They're going to bump the price up when you get there, and they hope you don't call. Because if you call, then they know you won't come. And in my book, I teach you how to call. We don't waste our time. We don't let anyone waste our time. While we're in a dealership that's wasting our time, the real best price car is selling to someone else. If you narrow it down to 3 cars and then you go see one and it's like, okay, Dad, you wasted my time. Now you come back and the other 2 that was really the best price, those are gone. Because the best price cars don't last long. So we can't afford to let anyone waste our time. So now the goal is to see, can I get money off, but not here? We don't do that until we get there. Because a lot of times when we shop for used cars, we're getting notifications of every car that pops up. A lot of times we get cars that no one even knows hit the market yet. Soon as they hit the market, because I teach you how to know the market, you literally know the car there before anyone. You verify fees, you're there, you test drive it, you lock the car up. You can't call those dealers and be like, hey, could you take another $1,000, $2,000 off? Because they're going to be like, well, we just got the car, we're going to give it some chance. And I'm going to give you another insider secret. Dealers use a tool called V-Auto. When we list used cars, we know what every used car is priced at around us. We know what every single used car is priced at all around us. So we know we're the lowest priced car in the market. When you're looking at that car and you see that's the lowest price out of all of them, that dealer knows they're the lowest price. So when you call them and you look for more money off and you're not there, you don't have any leverage. So we do that when we get there. So this is all in the process that we use. I talked to y'all at the beginning of the stream. We talked about process. Everything we do is a system. That's why we have thousands of people that you look all over my pages, you read those comments, you see people sold their leases. I made so much money selling my lease. Oh man, I got $10,000 off. Man, I got a deal that was $200 less than what I thought I could get. Look, I had, I think Vicky, who wrote into me? I think Vicky wrote into me and said, What's her name, Vicky? Okay, can you take that question off, CP? Dolan, so I can see this. Okay, yeah, it was Vicky. She said, "Hey, Deshone, thanks to your book and the methods, I was able to get my new lease for a 2024 Volkswagen Atlas for $175 less a month than my first quotes. I did it all online except for picking up the car. I put no money down other than first month's payment and DMV. I saved over $6,000 over the life of my lease listening to your tips, using my scripts. My negotiating scripts, you don't talk, you're typing, you're copying and pasting. So if you have it, if you can't copy and paste, this ain't for you. If you're not good with a computer, you can't visit websites and copy and paste. This isn't for you. But that is the name of the game. That is the name of the game. Like, it is all about having a process, not winging it. This is a 5 and 6 figure transaction. You wouldn't wing a home purchase. I don't care if you found the least expensive shack in the country. You found a shack that was $40,000, and you're like, man, I want to buy that shack. You wouldn't wing that process, right? You wouldn't be like, oh, you know what, I can handle it. Forget the attorney. I don't need a realtor. I don't need none of that. I'm just gonna go and, no title company. No, there's a process. Doesn't matter. Even the least expensive house. So if you treat car buying here like you treat home buying, if you treat car buying like you're buying a small house instead of a big TV, that's how people treat buying cars. Then people come in, hey, honey, look outside. You bought a car? Hey, I went down. I told you, I told you I was just going to get milk, but I stopped by the dealership. I knew you was out for a couple hours. What happened? Like, how'd you buy a car? Well, I stopped by the dealership. I saw this thing and I just had to make it. You made a $30,000 transaction in minutes. Minutes. It's like it's a big TV, like you bought a 90-inch TV home. Look, honey, but I got a car, something that costs $50,000. I did it in a couple hours. This is why we're losing. And so part of what I got to do, y'all, I got to tell you the bad news. I got to tell you the bad news so that you can get to these prices. You're not going to get to these prices unless you realize that everything they taught you to do was for them to make more money. Once that clicks, you come over to our side and you join our side, and we'll just, you'll be winning for forever. New cars, used cars, leases, high mileage drivers, don't matter. We do it all. All right, go ahead, Dolan. All right. I'm in 3/6 years in my finance car. Okay, it looks like you're about halfway in, and would do anything to pay less than $660 a month. How do you feel about refinancing? Okay, so there's a right way to refinance and there's a wrong way. Refinancing should be you qualify for a better rate now, but you don't want to stretch the loan out. And I'm going to tell you why. Most of the people who want to loan you money, they want you to take it longer. I make more money lending you $40,000 for 8 years than I do for 3 years. So the longer you take the loan, the more I'm pretty much guaranteed to be all right. If you pay for 2-3 years, a lot of that is going to interest. So by the time you get to halfway through, you still owe a good amount on that vehicle. So most people, when they refinance, they call and they're like, okay, well, what's the lowest payment I could refinance into? And then they'll stretch the loan out. And that ends up, like, let's say if you paid 3 years already. Now you go in and you say, all right, well, what can I refinance to? They say, well, we can get you to $375 a month. We give you a new 6-year loan. And now people be like, oh, well, I like that better. But you already paid for 3. What's 3 plus 6? 9 years. No one's taking, there's no smart person on here that would sign a 9-year loan. But that's the problem. So here's what I would do. You're already, all right. Another thing about refinancing, it's for people who want to keep their cars. We said this earlier. The people who are keeping their cars want to actually pay them off and keep them until they, forever. or at least until they know that the depreciation is over. And that's really not even that, because once the depreciation, once you get here, you buy your car here, by the time it gets here, you paid it off. Now you don't want to get rid of it, because now this is where you've reached what I call the reward stage. This is where it's like, man, my car is not really losing that much value. Now let me keep this thing and really get my money out of it. You don't want to flip the car as soon as the depreciation has really settled. You don't. So if you're planning to keep that car and keep it 8, 9, 10 years, then you refinance, and then you say, all right, I'm just going to make sure I got the best loan. But I would recommend you refinance and pay the highest payment you can to pay off the car quicker, not stretching the loan out. It's just you're paying more. It may seem like, okay, yeah, I'm paying less, but you're paying more. You've already paid for 3 years. They stretch you out another 5 years. That's an 8-year loan. You paid on the car for 8 years now. So what I would look at is, if you're not a long-term person, if you're not keeping your cars 8 years, you should be flipping out of that car into a lease. You should literally we have a process we call the equity assessment. Some of you know there's a word we don't use here. It starts with a T. Who knows? Because I know we got some new people on here. If this is your first time, you wouldn't know this. But there's a couple people that tap in with us regularly. They locked in. They becoming below market masters. A lot of them have my book already. So there's a word we don't use. It starts with a T. See if we got anybody on here that know. Thank you, Terry. Trade. Yes. Thank you. Way to go. I love the people who are locked in. I'm always going to listen. I'm always going to give y'all extra attention, because y'all are the ones. It's a lot of distractions out here in this world. A lot of people want you reading news articles and all of that. While you doing all of that, people charging you more money for everything. Stuff you didn't have to pay overpriced for this car. But because you didn't tap in and lock in, now you just went and did it over. So yes, we don't trade. So what you would do is you would do an equity assessment. We go to cash buyers. We use 6 buyers right now online. CarMax, Carvana, Driveway, KBB Instant Cash Offer, and AutoNation and Car Gurus. That's 6 cash buyers. They compete hard. 3 of them link you to a local dealership for a cash offer. 3 of them are online car buyers for cash offers. And these are people I've helped hundreds of people sell cars to these people. I've sold my car, my mother's car. We both sold our leases, and I ain't gonna tell you what I made when I sold my leases, because that's when the market was high and every car was worth $7,000 to $12,000 more than it's worth today. You know, I'm so glad we look back and we helped a lot of people cash out and benefit from that market. That's no longer here. That's over. But there was a 3-year run where we were selling leases and making literally 5 figures. It's amazing. But anyway, the point is, you want to do an equity assessment. You want to let these cash buyers bid for your asset and see what's the most you could pay. You're not going to get money. You're not going to get these numbers on trade. So once you do that, you see how much you can pay. Now, we were switching to a lease. You get a below market lease on something, you drop your payment very simply. Very simply. You going into another finance though, it's going to be difficult for you to do that. It's going to be difficult for you to do that. Let me see the woman I had who went. She just did this. She literally just did what I just laid out for you. And let's see, what was her name? Melissa. Was it Melissa? Yep. So Melissa said, you see this a couple days ago, she said, I took possession of a 2025 Honda Pilot EXL. She realized, you know, she wasn't a long-term person. She's not keeping her cars 8 years. She's losing on depreciation. Once she learned that, she said, Deshone, I'm following the strategies. I'm flipping into a lease and I'm going into, leasing like a boss. She ends up leasing. She now gets her equity assessment done. She finds out she has $12,000 of equity in her old car. $12,000 of equity in her old car. Now, after she does her equity assessment, she says, all right, let me get my offers for my Honda. Let me see the dealer that's going to sell it to me for the lowest price. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, you can see this. And I can't share this on the other platforms because it doesn't let me. But if you're on YouTube, you can see Melissa's whole deal that she sent. So she ends up She ends up leasing $597 a month. She got a 15,000 mile a year lease. The Honda was, I believe, close to $50,000. Yep, it was close to $50,000. She has a $12,000 check coming that she's gonna put in her bank account. Now she was used to just flipping that over to the next car. That's how they get you. See, hold on, I got it. That's how they get you. She's used to going into the dealer. What's my old car worth? Who's done this? If you'll be honest and say, ouch, you've done this. If you can't say amen, say ouch. That's what my old pastor used to say. You can't say amen, say ouch. When you look and you go, what's my old car worth? I want to use that for a trade. I don't want to put no money down. That's why I got my old car. Now what'll happen is that old car, you just flip the finance, and now when you hear the payment, it's like, okay, I guess the payment's not that bad, but you don't realize your old car was a $10,000 to $12,000 to $15,000 down payment that just stacked their profit, and now it's all types of bad. It's because it's too much money for a person to control. It's too much money. When you go into a dealership to trade and you need a loan, that's 3 transactions you're giving to the dealership. 3. That means I want to sell you my old car. That's 1 transaction. And instead of me making people bid for my old car, I'm just going to give it to you. I'm going to just have you be my only offer. Even though I know, well, you don't know, that's why you're not doing it. Even though there's tons of other companies who want to compete to say, hey, wait, we'll pay more than that. We'll pay more. They're giving you 10 for the trade. We'll give you 13. We'll give you 12. Like, you don't know these people exist. So you're now giving that to the dealer. Now you say, and I need a loan. You don't realize there's banks and credit unions that want to compete all around you. Hey, we could do a better rate than that. We could do a better rate than that. In my book, I teach something called the bank bidding war, where we have all of these people bid for our loan, and it doesn't affect our credit. There's a particular way we do this. It's a bank bidding war. They give you a window to shop. Now, you can't let dealers run your credit and just run you, that's different. I'm talking you rate shopping. But you're giving that transaction to the dealer without shopping it. And then you're buying a car from them, even though there's other dealers who have the exact same car that you're not getting prices from. That will sell you the car for $3,000 less, $5,000 less, $8,000 less, $15,000 less. You won't know that because you're just dealing with this one person. So that is what happens most of the time. That's why when you step into our way, you see it's totally different. You can't even mix what we do here with how y'all do it. You can't. It's oil and water. So that's how Melissa did it. The same way I just told you to do it. She said, you know what? I'm not buying these cars anymore. I'm not keeping them 8 years. If I'm keeping a car 8 years, then I'll shop to buy again. Again, for those of you who just came on the stream, if you are keeping your car more than 8 years, your next car, you shop for a purchase. New car, used car, purchase. But if you cannot tell me 100% you are keeping the car 8 years, you should be shopping for a lease. It's not even close. The prices paid, the quality of vehicles driven, as long as you're getting the right mileage you need, it's the best thing ever. New cars, and we're paying cents on the dollar compared to everyone else. But you have to bid these out. Can't walk into a dealer and say, hey, work me a lease out. You're never going to get these prices. Never. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. All of this, for those of you who like Deshone, listen, I love what I'm hearing, man. It's no way I'm going to remember all of this. This is all in my blueprint. I'm not winging any of this. Everything I'm teaching is out of my step-by-step book. It's a digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. Now, if you visited the website already and the timer started, that means once that timer hits 0, it's not, you don't get 75% off. It goes back up to $97. So you won't get the $24 price. But if you get there before the timer hits 0, in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, you can get your 75% off. It'll be in your inbox before we even end the stream. It'll be in your inbox in 5 minutes. Now, also, we have a link in the YouTube comments pinned for you to activate your 75% off, as well as a link floating on Facebook or in the comments for you to activate your 75% off. But once you get your book, I want you to screenshot the thank you page. One, it says right here, click below to open your book. So you can open the book and save it to your phone or your email right there. But then I also email you a copy. But sometimes you type your email in wrong. We have a great email system. We've delivered over 10,000 books, but we can't send a book to the wrong email. And that's what usually happens. So I want you to screenshot that page so you'll have my support team's email. And depending on where you're watching, you'll see the support email on the screen. But this is only for book delivery. This is not for questions. I don't do questions through email. All right. Jimmy, thanks. Just got the book. Can't wait to read and learn how to get a great deal on my next car. Congratulations. Use it, win. Follow it step by step. Don't change a thing. It's like McDonald's. I promise you, the reason why we have hundreds of people, I've worked with 2,000 people personally, and we probably got thousands of people that I don't even know about. Hundreds that have written me, text, DM me, emailed me. But I know we have thousands of people who've used our strategies to get below market prices and enjoy the car shopping process. Like, enjoy. How about that? How about, yeah, great to pay below market prices, great to save thousands of dollars. How about enjoying something, enjoying a process of something that you're about to spend 5 or 6 figures on? Not like, oh, just get me out of here. I've had people who I've seen them. I see them at the dealership when I was in there. They can't wait to get it over with. Oh, I hate this. It's a shame. It's a shame. We enjoy car shopping. When you're in control, when you're making people bid for your business, when you see companies, banks, dealerships fighting in your inbox, hey, look at my offer. Look, hey, anything we can do? When you feel like that, you see you are the prize. You see, you're the prize. Your business is the prize. The way we shop, we're the prize. The way you've been taught to shop, you're begging. You're just begging. Come on, can you take off another 1,000? Come on, you really gonna lose a deal over, $20 a month? Come on, I know you can do better than that. You're begging. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, congratulations, Jimmy. Keep me posted and make sure you email me your deal when you get it. I can't wait to see it. Go ahead, Dolan. Got a time for a couple more. All right, let's get through as many as we can. Let's go. Just be you. What's average credit score you need for a good lease with no down payment? I would say I like to see people around 670, 660. Depends on the vehicle you're shopping for. Now, there's some vehicles that won't let you be their first lease. If you've never had a car loan, you need to have a car loan. Mercedes was big on that. They wanted you to have a car loan or lease prior to them. But usually a 680 could get you approved tier 1 for most vehicles that I've seen. Now, it's not all about credit score. It is. I have something in my book I call, it's called, leasing and credit. And what I tell you is it's about profile. It's more about profile than just score. Profile is like nothing gets you approved for a lease like a paid car. If you paid on time for a car you have now, even with a 640 score, if they look at you and see, wait, well, she's never missed a payment on her car in the last 5 years. There's a good chance you're going to get approved because that weighs heavy, But if you don't have a car or a paid off car, then you want to have a higher score, 680, 690, 680 I usually see. And again, it depends on the vehicle, but most vehicles that I've seen with a 680, solid profile, good income, you don't have to make a lot, they need to see that you can afford the vehicle. That's just fine. Yeah, that's just fine. And look, if you're not ready to get a lease yet, then you should be setting yourself up to get a lease. You should be setting yourself up. No, thank you, baby. You should be setting yourself up to get a lease. What does that mean? If you don't have the credit to lease right now, the last thing you want to do is go get let me tell you what people do. Can't sacrifice. Can't sacrifice. You don't have the credit, but you want to drive the nice vehicle. So you're going to go out and you're going to spend 20, 25, 30 and say, hey, what could you get me to on that? Now you go out and you're paying $800 a month. Now, you're already slightly shaky in your payment history. That's a problem because you're biting off a big payment. You're typically going to overpay for that car, and the interest alone is going to be an overpayment. Not to mention the price of the car you pay. So you're getting charged more for interest, which is normal. But without shopping strategies, now you go and you overpay for the car. So you might overpay for the car, and now you got a 25% interest rate. You're burying yourself. So now you look up and you say, okay, next car, am I any closer to leasing? Not if you missed a payment on that. One late payment on that, no, you jacked yourself up. So what I teach people to do is when you don't have the credit, get something very inexpensive. Get something that you can get the least expensive car that you can get a loan on. Get a car that was like a Hyundai Elantra or, Toyota Corolla, something small. That was the smallest car you could get, because the smaller car you get, that means you could get it pre-owned and it won't be that expensive. Like, all right, a Hyundai Elantra is $24,000 brand new. That means I could get, if I wanted to spend 10 grand on one, I should be able to get one that's like 7 years old, 8 years old. It's only 24,000 new. I shouldn't have to, but if I'm looking at a car that was 50,000 brand new and I want to spend 10 grand, then, I'm going to get a 10-year-old one with 100,000 miles. So we want to get the least expensive car, the smallest car, no frills car, just to have a payment history. Build that payment history, $250 a month, pay them, work on your credit. Now in 18 months, you go and you flip to a lease. 18 months, 2 years, you go and pull up in a brand new car. The people going to look and say, oh, man, I ain't realized, man, I saw you pull up in that old thing, and I was like, man, what's she doing driving that? But you ain't know, this is a plan. This is a strategy. I'm not going to go and bite off a expensive car. What I need to, I need the nicest car, knowing that my credit isn't there yet. I'm going to sacrifice now for 2 years, get a car with a low payment, make sure it's reliable. I call this a smart car. It stands for saving money at the right time. And then in 2 years, I'm flipping into a brand new lease because I worked my plan. But that's a plan. How many people I saw with bad credit driving Dodge Chargers? I look at what they paying and it's like, yo, dog, this is a horrible deal. Why'd you do this? You couldn't just sacrifice. You already make the money. You could have bought a less expensive car, fixed your credit, and in 2 years you've been driving a new Dodge Charger with, leasing it. Like these are the things that I tell people with bad credit, because it's a real financial, you need a plan. You need a plan. So good question though, just be you. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Send one more in. Let's go. Everybody getting value. If you're getting value out of the stream, type dollar signs. Type dollar signs. This is what we do over here. I see y'all running the likes up on TikTok. Shout out to everybody tapping the screen. Appreciate y'all. Queen Daphne, I was leasing for 20 years and I bought this last car. I have 76,000 miles on it in 4 years. Now I want to get a new one. See, you're a lease person. So you shouldn't, you're a lease person. You should be leasing, getting yourself, if you have in 4 years, 76,000 miles, that's about, it's probably about 18,000 miles a year. Look, here's the thing. Look at Jen. If you didn't see Queen Daphne, I shared Jen's deal earlier. Look at Jen. She got the exact lease you need. Look, finalized my deal this evening. Honda CRV hybrid, very popular vehicle. 39,155, 512 a month at 12K. We always shop 12K with no money down. It was a 512 a month payment. That's a 1.3% lease. 512 on a $39,000 vehicle. So now once we shop our deals for 12, that's when we adjust with the dealer who wins the bid. Whatever dealer wins the bid, now we adjust the mileage with them. We customize it with them. So she said, okay, she told the dealer she wanted 18,000 miles per year. It went from 512 to 563 a month. That's it. Literally. $50 more a month. And she's driving 18,000 miles per year. $50 more. That's what people don't do. They take the 12, $50 more a month times 36, that's $1,800. $1,800. $1,800 over a 3-year period. $50 more per month. She gets what she needs. Instead of a person who says, well, I really needed 18, but I got 12. So you got 6,000 less miles than you need. Multiply that by 3 years. That's 18,000 miles over you're going to go. At 25 cents per mile, you're going to be charged. 18,000 miles over at 25 cents per mile is $4,500 penalty. This is what we call penny wise, dollar foolish. Penny wise, dollar foolish. I'm going to pay $4,500 at the end to avoid paying $1,800 over 3 years. Y'all understand? Y'all understand? It's always about getting the mileage you need. It's always less expensive to get the mileage you need because people think they can avoid that. They think, some of it is the dealer's fault and some of it is the person's fault. The dealer may lie to them and say, hey, if you go over mileage, don't care, just come back and we'll get you out of it. They're just rolling that $4,500 penalty over to the next car and burying it and stretching it out. That doesn't go away. You cannot, because you know why the dealer has no control over this? Because the dealer has nothing to do with that. It's the bank's vehicle. The bank is expecting you to bring back the vehicle with the mileage you said. So when you bring it back and it has 18,000 more miles, you owe the bank. The dealership is out of it. The day you buy the vehicle, that paperwork signed, the check gets cut, dealership gets paid, dealership's out of it. They have nothing to do with the car anymore. It's between you and the bank. That's the bank's car. That's why when you drop off a lease, you pay a disposition fee to get the money, to get that car back to the bank where it belongs. The dealer has to transport it to the bank. It's their car. So it's always, we always shop for what we need. And it's a small amount of money. So what you do, Daphne, is you do your equity assessment. We talk about it. If you missed it about 10, 15 minutes ago, you can go and watch the YouTube replay. Or if you want everything I teach step by step in my book, it's in my digital book. You can click the link in my Instagram bio or in my TikTok bio. You get 75% off, so you get the steps for $24. As long as you get there before the 30-minute timer goes to zero. But what you do is you do your equity assessment to find out the most money a company will pay you for your current car. See if you have equity or do you have negative equity. And once you do that, now you move into shopping for your replacement lease. And it's simple. You separate those two transactions and you'll be just fine. And it's very, very simple. But I wouldn't, unless you're keeping your car 8 years, don't do this. And this happens a lot. People who love leasing, enjoy leasing, and then all of a sudden you buy something and it's like, nah, you know what? I really want to get back to leasing. That happens. I did it. And I broke my own rule. And here's the thing. When you break your own rule, y'all will see, because I'm about to replace this truck because I thought I was going to keep it 8 years. This is why you have to know. When I bought this pre-owned Infinity truck, I got a great price on it. Saved 42% off the original price. That's another thing we do with used car. We must know what the original price was to know if it's a really good deal. We didn't go into detail on that in the show, but that's a big deal. You cannot. How do you know you're getting a good price on a used car if you don't know what it was originally priced? What equipment it was, what packages it had in it, what was the original list price, and what's the asking price? That's how we calculate discount. I call that the true value discount. That's in my book. So, but when I got it, I got a great deal on it. Now, when I look at the money that I paid over 3 years, once I get this new lease, you're going to see that I could have just gotten the lease. I could have just gotten the lease when you compare a used car, great deal on a used car, to a lease, they're about the same money coming out your house over a 6-year period. If you got one vehicle and you kept it for 6 years versus 2 leases, it's going to be about the same money on 2 pre-owned cars. Now, comparing a new purchase to a below market lease, totally different money. thousands more for the new purchase, thousands more. We've already hit on that throughout the stream. But what I'm going to show y'all when I do this is the amount of money that I put into the car over 3 years, over the almost 2 years I've had it. I could have just leased a brand new car for the same amount. So it's not that I overpaid, but what I could have been driving had my structure been right. And again, that's why the 8-year rule is so important. If you can't guarantee you're keeping the vehicle 8 years, you should not buy it. You should be shopping for a lease. That's the name of the game. It's not even a question. We continue to prove that over and over and over again. So anybody, if you just jumped on, you can watch the YouTube replay. You can see all the lease deals that we shared. Again, the message is get from one side, get out of the middle. Get out of the middle. You either want to be on the shopping for below market lease side, or you're a long-term buyer keeping your cars more than 8 years. Everyone who's buying their cars and trading them in, or buying them, paying them off, and then trading them in, you're losing the most money because you're on this depreciation curve. Again, we're just recapping what we covered in the show so far. This is how you're losing value, and then as soon as you get to the bottom where it's starting to cool off, you replace your car and you go do this all over again. So you need to get to one side. You either want to be shopping over here for below market leases, or you're keeping your cars long enough to beat depreciation, like the people we talked about earlier in the show who said they had cars for 12 years, 10 years, 15 years, 18 years. That's the name of the game. You don't want to be leasing and then buying the lease. You're mixing them. You don't want to be buying the cars and then replacing them before they're paid off. You're stuck in the middle. So let's get in the right structure. Again, all of this is out of my new digital book. It's 5-star rated. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It is the blueprint for below market leases, the blueprint for below market used cars, new cars, high mileage drivers, high mileage leases. Everything you need is in there in a step-by-step fashion, making banks and credit unions bid for your business instead of just going with one bank. Rates are high. Whenever rates are high, you need to be shopping rates. Even when rates are low, you need to be shopping rates. And you're not, this is all money. 2 points on an interest rate literally could be $2,000-$3,000. That's big money. So we need to know this. All of this is in the book, and you can get your copy for 75% off. It is a digital book. So anything that happens new in the industry, I update it. Example, Vroom went out of business. Vroom used to be on our list of people to sell our cars to on the equity assessment, and they were on our list of pre-owned cars. When we would shop for pre-owned cars, Vroom was on our list. Vroom went out of business. I went right into the master file, updated it. Everyone who opens up the book, you never saw Vroom since then. I couldn't do that with a print book. If I had 10,000 copies in print in people's houses, how do we update it when these companies go out of business or when a new website comes into the market? So with a digital book, we do that. You get free updates for now, and that's what we've been doing. So 30 minutes only. Once the timer hits 0, the price is $97. Once you get to, before you, where can you go? TikTok bio, Instagram bio, Facebook link in the comments, or it's floating, YouTube pinned comments. Get there, get your copy for 75% off. And please send me your deals. When you make your deals, send me pictures of the car, send me the details. I can't wait to see it. All right, we'll be back for another stream. Shout out to everybody who checked in. Shout out to everybody that was locked in. God bless y'all. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I am your host, publicly known as Deshone the Auto Advisor. We do these shows throughout the week to make sure that you guys know how to have a process to get below market deals. There's three types of prices you can pay with any car: market value, above market value, below market value. Below market value is reserved for the people who have strategies. It's not for the negotiators. Great negotiators pay market value all the time. They never know it. The only way to guarantee below market deals is to master the art of putting dealers against each other, looking at multiple offers. That is how you guarantee below market deals from home. So everything we're going to be talking about today is something we call the cars from home mindset. You do not need to spend more than 30 minutes in a car dealership to pay below market price. What you need to do is learn how to make dealers compete for your business so that you can stop begging for discounts. So you'll see this in a whole different way. We got a couple questions already that came from TikTok, so we'll get to those. You guys can start typing your questions. We have Dolan in the background. He's moderating, and he's going to bring in as many questions as we could get through in the next hour. So we're going to try to go as fast as we can. Let's get the show on the road. Everything you're about to learn is going to be out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And as part of our welcome offer, you can get a copy for 75% off. It's normally $97, and it's worth every penny. You can Google it. You can see it's 5-star rated reviews, but I want to make you a special welcome offer to get your copy at 75% off. You can get it in my TikTok bio and my Instagram bio. Just click the link and it'll activate that 75% off. And for those of you watching on Facebook, you'll see a link floating. And for those of you on YouTube, we have a link pinned in the comments for you. So, but that's only for 30 minutes. Once that countdown hits 0, the price does go back up to $97. So even if you miss it, you want to get your copy. It'll be everything we're talking about. Okay, Dolan, let's get going. You can put the first question in. This one's Angie B. How are you? So I just got pre-approved for $30,000 from Nissan. Should I ask about the interest rate and loan? Yes, you should. We don't usually, in fact, we never get pre-approved from a car dealership. Nissan is, I was at the gym earlier and somebody said, hey, I went into my Lexus dealer and, I said, you own a Lexus dealer? He said, well, what do you mean? I said, you said it was your Lexus dealer. You said, I went to my Lexus dealer. I said, that dealer is independently owned and it's for profit. It's not for you. These people are not your friends. He said, no, you're right. He said, they are nice though. I said, well, you make more money when you smile while you're taking someone's money. So there's people who make tons of money, they never smile. But if you smile, you'll make even more money. The point is to understand that someone who has an interest in making money on you should never be your only offer. Never. Because you don't know how much they've built in for themselves. So when you get this pre-approval offer, the best thing for you to do is to, all right, there's some smart people on here that know this. They know this particular part. You separate your car purchase from your loan. You can't mix these two things. I want you to start looking at Angie. I want you to start looking at your car purchase separate from your loan. There's something I call the 3 pillars of great car deals. 3 pillars. And if y'all are on break or something, or you should have a pen taking notes, unless you're gonna watch this replay, because we're gonna cover a lot of stuff in the next hour. 3 pillars of great car deals. You must get a great deal in each pillar to actually get a great deal. First pillar, who I buy my car from. Second pillar, who I get my loan from. Third pillar, who I sell my old car to. Those are 3 independent transactions. So when you give a dealer your old car, because you said, I'm going to trade, now you give a dealer your loan. And you also buy a car from that dealer. You've given them 3 transactions. Each of those transactions has big money in it. How do we know each one of those transactions have big money in it? Well, I spent 14 years in the car business, 5 years Mercedes, 5 years General Motors. That's how I know. But how you can know is to look at the fact that there are companies that only want to lend you money to buy cars, and they want to fight for your business. There's banks and credit unions out there. They don't sell cars. They sell money. They sell money. They want to compete. Please give us a chance to earn your business. You're going to start doing that. There's companies out there, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, CarMax, Car Gurus, 6 offers. There's companies that buy cars. They pay cash. This isn't Facebook Marketplace. The only way we used to get more money for our old cars than we could get from a dealer is we had to sell it privately. Y'all remember that? Remember that? If you wanted to make 2,000 or 3,000 extra than the dealer was going to give you, you had to sell your car privately. These 6 companies that I just named are going to pay you more than any dealer is going to pay you to trade. So what you got to understand, academic weapon, and people like you who are asking these questions, you got to understand that there's 3 parts to a car transaction. The ones I just broke down, that's if you have a trade. But now, how do you make sure that you get a great deal in each one of the pillars? It's simple. Bids. It's simple. Bids. All you have to do is embrace that. As long as I get bids, it's impossible for me to overpay. This is great for the people who's not a good negotiator. Let's be honest here. If you're not a good negotiator type, not me. You're just not good at it, or you just don't like it. Just type, not me. Or me. It doesn't matter. Just something to tap in. Be honest. I see you, academic. Okay. Anyone who's just not, and here's what I know, because I'm taught this in sales. Only 15% of the population is. Only 15% of the population is comfortable with conflict. Hey, Terry, thanks for being honest. This is how we're going to win, being honest. So when you look and say, well, if I'm not a good negotiator, how do I get below market prices? It comes back to bid. So everything I'm teaching you is based on a bidding system. What you should be doing, Angie, is I'm gonna teach you something I call the bank bidding war. This is in my new book. So when you get your copy of the book, you'll see the entire bank bidding war blueprint. I tell you how to do this step by step. The credit bureaus, dealers don't want you to know this, so pay attention. Everyone hit the share button. Shout out to the sharers. I need everyone who shares to hit the share button. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. Hit the like button, because we're about to drop something on you that I know you've never heard. Pretty much everything you're going to hear you've never heard. But let's go deep on this bank bidding war. The credit bureaus allow you to have multiple lenders access your credit within a certain period of time. And as long as you let them all access it in that period of time, it's going to have the same effect on your credit score as one hard inquiry. So if one hard inquiry on your credit would have lowered your score 9 points, you can have 20 and it'll lower your score the same 9 points. So obviously, if we could have 1 and we're going to take a 9-point hit, or we could have 20, what's better? With one person competing for our business or 20? So you cannot go into the dealers to do this. You can't say, well, I heard Deshone said I could go to this dealer and let them run my credit, and then the next day I could go to this dealer and let them run my credit. That's not how it works. You cannot do that. What you will do is you will make your deal for your car. First thing you're going to do, Angie, in the bank bidding war process is, let's see, are there any special interest rates in the market? That's always step one. Bank bidding war is 3 rounds. Step one is, are there any special interest rates for the car I'm looking at? Are they running 0%? Are they running 1.9%? Anything that I know a bank or credit union can't beat at all. It's a sub-vented rate. It's like a rebate on a finance. It's the company saying, we want to move a lot of these cars. Let's give the people low interest, no interest. Now, once I check that off, there's no special rates. Now we're moving to the next step, which is shopping for our car. Now, I have a tool in my book called the Perfect Budget Exercise. I created a calculator to do this because most of what you need to do when it comes to getting pre-approved is for budgeting. No different than buying a house. They tell you, hey, you're pre-approved for $400,000 at this interest rate and for a 30-year mortgage. Why do they do that? So you can budget. So the only purpose of a pre-approval is to budget. So the problem with these pre-approvals now is they're doing something where they're trying to get over on you. And they just see, anytime the public starts to move in a certain way, here comes the scammers, here comes the wolves. Once the public started talking about pre-approvals, every bit of the conversation went there, but they don't want you to get pre-approved and shop competition. They want you to get pre-approved and locked into them. That is what you want to avoid. Anytime you see anyone trying to lock you into them, one dealer, lock me in. Hey, one dealer sent me this letter. Come get this car from us only. Lock me into them. Hey, you're pre-approved from this bank. Lock me into them. That's how you overpay. Because they don't want you shopping competition to find out that that offer from them is not the best offer. I don't care how good it sounds. It's not the best offer until we've seen 2 or 3 and 4 or 5 other offers. Then we realize, oh, that wasn't a good offer. So when they're doing these restricted pre-approvals, where first of all, they want to ding your credit with a hard pull. We don't like that. Second of all, they want to give you, they don't give you a rate, an interest, they give you a term, but there's an expiration date on it. Who's seen that? Who's seen that? Your pre-approval is only good for 30 days. Now, you done already hit my credit with a hard pull. Now I'm out here shopping, and I'm shopping with my back against the wall, and I have pressure not from the dealer that I'm buying from. I got pressure from the bank that wants to loan me money. Hurry up and find a car. If you don't find a car in 30 days, you got to come back and we got to hit your credit again. So what are you going to do when you're out there shopping and looking and you know your pre-approval expires in 2 days? You mess around and take something that you wouldn't have taken if you didn't have that deadline. So this is not what you want to do. This is not what you want to do. Hold on one second. Hold on. And I asked the people when I asked the people before when we did another stream, I said, hey, do you guys want me to do these quick skim over answers so we could get 20 questions answered in an hour, or do y'all want me to go deep on these subjects? And everybody said go deep on it. We like that. So that's the consensus. We don't do fluff answers here. This is car buying. This isn't, buying a pair of shoes. We go deep on answers. So we stay away from these because those were the games. These are the games these lenders are playing now. They don't want us shopping them. They don't want us shopping their competition. They're making a ton of money on interest, charging 7, 8, 9% interest, 10% interest to people who aren't shopping their competitors. We don't do that. What we're doing is we are going to, once we see that there's no special interest rate, we move into shopping for our vehicle. Now we're getting bids. Once we find the best offer on our vehicle, new car, used car, we lock it up with a deposit. We never take on the spot delivery. Type a $sign if you understand. Type a $sign if you've ever taken on the spot delivery from a car. You went in, signed the paperwork, same day, took it home. Type a $sign if you've done that. We don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to tell you why. On a finance, you don't have an opportunity to shop rates. You got to shop rates. From now on, you will be shopping rates. You're going to have 5, 10, 15 lenders compete to see who's going to give me the best rate. Because if I pay 7% on a $30,000 loan, but I could have got 5.29%. That's probably $1,500. That's probably, and we never go back and refinance. We just end up with a higher rate than we could have gotten. We wonder, we hope, hey, dang, I wonder if I got the best rate. This is what's going to eliminate that. So you're going to put the deposit down. Hey, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm going to go shop my lenders. And here's what we do that no one is teaching. We always let the dealer see if they can beat the rate. We do not only strictly go with our lenders. We don't have enough lenders to do that. If we had 20, 30, 40, 50 lenders that we were shopping, we got like, I show you how to reach out to about 5 in my book, but the dealer might have another 12, 13, 15. So we want all of these people competing. That way we guarantee we got the best rate. So what I want you doing, Angie, is I want you to not focus on one dealer's offer, one Nissan offer. No, that means nothing. You want to learn to separate your transactions. We've talked about the 3 pillars. You're going to bid each one out. And the best part about bidding is you can do it all online. You can do it all from home. 90% of what I'm telling you, 90% of how we buy cars and the people you're going to see, I'll introduce you to over the next hour. You see a lot of people who learn from me. It's from home. That's why my entire process is called Cars from Home. The book is called Cars from Home. It's a digital book. It'll be in your inbox in 5 minutes, but you got to get there before the 30-minute timer goes down to get you 75% off. It's normally a $97 book, worth every penny. But for the next 30 minutes, if you haven't visited yet, you can get your copy for 75% off. Go to my TikTok bio, the Instagram bio. Don't miss it. You can come back to the broadcast. We'll be here. YouTube, we have a comment pin for you. On Facebook, you guys can see the link floating. Get your 75% off. That way you have all of this stuff step by step for the rest of your life. And when things update, I update the book. So that's another reason I love a digital book, because things happen, things change, new websites come out, boom, I go right in, boom, boom, update it. I don't charge you. Hey, you bought my book 18 months ago, but here's version 2. Send another $32 to, no, I want people to win. If you want to win, you're going to win with me. That's it. I'm not looking to nickel and dime people. That book should be $500, but at the end of the day, I want people to win. We want to make it accessible for everybody. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one in. Skinner, good to see you, my man. Always checking in. Always good when I see you. What's going on? Let me get this book. Go ahead, Angie. Use it and win. Use it and win. All right. What's up, Yo? Good to see you. How can I get your people to help me out? I'm trying to purchase a vehicle in the next 2 weeks. We have a Shop with Deshone program. It's been out. I shop with people all around the country. So I always say, get in where you fit in. Some people are do-it-yourself people. Anyone who's a do-it-yourself person, we have the master blueprint. It's step by step. There's different paths. So you're not reading a book on leasing, buying new cars, used cars, high mileage driving strategy. You're not reading all of that and then trying to see what I do. There's paths. I basically have it like the warp zone. If y'all ever played Mario, if you're on a lease path, I have links in the book that keep you on the lease path. You're not reading used car stuff if you're leasing. It's going to confuse you. So, but that's do it yourself. That's the blueprint. Some people are like, okay, I want to do it with you, Deshone. Can we work together? How can? Yeah, we have that too. And we have to. So I put the information out. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for you 2 years from now being on my live and saying, hey, I'm still trying to figure out the car buying process. There's no excuse. You got a 14-year veteran here who nobody in the industry can control me because I don't work for a dealership. So I tell you everything that I do to buy cars below market value, lease cars below market value. All the people that you see, you guys know, if you've been on any of my streams, you know, we share 10, 15 people an episode sometimes who are reporting their deals. So at the end of the day, you get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in, but find a place to get in. I don't care if you watch all my free videos on social media. Now, once you get my book or you work with me, you can stop watching those videos. There's no point in you watching my videos warning people when you're inside with me and you got my blueprints. So it's just about getting where you fit in. That's all. Go ahead, Dolan. All that information was Shop with Deshone. That's all in my bio. That's all in, any of my bios too. So What are the 6 companies to sell your car to? Great question. Make notes. CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Do not use the Kelly Blue Book algorithm site where you just put your year, make, model in, boom. Your vehicle's worth $18,000. Do not use that. That is worthless. The only thing that matters is cash offers. That's all that matters. These are people who literally, they either send an inspector to see the car or you go to a local spot, have the car inspected, they go and they cut you a check. Like it's like that. They don't negotiate. You know, sometimes Kelly Blue Book will patch you into a dealer and they'll say, hey, I might be able to pay more if I see it. We don't usually fall for that. We want strictly, hey, there's no used car manager in this world in this country who can't put a number on a car sight unseen. Like literally seeing it, that car is worth about this. That's what they do all day long. Look at cars in auction, make offers, make offers, make offers. So all of this stuff can be done online. And these are the people who pay more than, see, you're not going to, once you use this process, you're getting bids. Remember that. So if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a 2019 Honda Accord, I'm going to show you how to see the entire market. Because the problem is, there's another guy at the gym, because people know me locally, you know, a couple people know what I do, and they'll come up to me, hey, you know, I'm looking at this car. I'm like, look, I don't do this, you know, I don't do this. I don't care how close you are to me, like, I don't do this anymore. But, you know, you get the same information. We've laid out the path, but he showed me, you know, I just saw this car, though. I was looking at it. I said, there's probably 50 of those cars within 100 miles. There's definitely 50 within 300 miles. So the whole idea, remember, you have to know the goal of the person trying to sell you something. It's to lock you in to them. They want you to think this is the only one. This is the only offer. No, cars are cookie cutter. If y'all ever see these new cars come off the truck, you'll understand. Oh, they sent 4 of those black ones. There's 4. These cars are cookie cutter. And all of these dealerships are competing. So when we start bidding and getting bids and we find the lowest price car in the market, we get the lowest offer on a lease, on a finance. I have all of this in my book. We do this by email. With a used car, we go on the marketplaces. We go on, it's like shopping on Amazon or BestBuy.com or Walmart. We're going to all the marketplaces for used cars and we're just screening it down. We'll talk more about that. If somebody wants to know how we screen down used cars, feel free to ask that question. But the point I'm trying to make is once you have found the lowest car in the market, that dealer knows they're selling that car at the lowest price in the market. So they cannot turn around and beat all of these other offers that Carvana and CarMax and all of these companies made to buy your car. They'll be out of business. You can't be the highest price. You can't pay the highest price to buy people's cars and then pay the lowest and then sell your car for the lowest price. You're just not going to make any money. So what we do is we find the person who wants to buy our car for the highest price. That's step 2 in my books, the equity assessment process. Those 6 companies that I named. We do this with leases too. We sell leases too. I've been talking about this for 3 years, and I know there's still people who like, Deshone, I didn't know you could sell a lease. If you didn't know, type a question mark. If you didn't know you could actually sell a lease and pocket cash if you have equity, type a question mark. So once we do the equity assessment, we've seen this is the company that's going to pay me the most for my old car. Now we're shopping for our new car. This is the company that's going to sell me the new car for the lowest price. 2 pillars. 2 pillars. You see what I'm saying? That's 2 pillars of our car deal. Guaranteed we paid, got the most for our car. Perfect, check. Got the least car, got the lowest car in the market based on bids, based on multiple offers. This is how it's done. And this stuff takes an app. Like when you guys get good at this, you'll be able to do this in 90 minutes to 2 hours. 90 minutes to 2 hours. I can get any car I want below market value. I'm going to pay less than everyone else. It won't take me more than 90 minutes. You'll get there. In the beginning, 2.5 hours, it's going to take you to go through. You're going to be fumbling. You're going to be overthinking. And once you just get the trust in the process, you'll see, okay, this is a 90-minute process. Now, I don't want you rushing your shopping. It's a big point before we go to the next question. Too many of you are rushing your shopping. That's why you're ending up with cars you don't like in 3 months. We don't rush that. We don't let anyone rush us into making a decision on the car we want. Step 4 in my book, in my process, I call it shopping, not buying. You're going to enjoy shopping the way we shop because no one pressures us. We don't let them. We enjoy our shopping process. We're only there to test drive. We take our time to decide what we want. Now, once we decide what we want, it ain't taking us no more than 90 minutes to get it. But the deciding of some of you might spend 3 months deciding what you want, and that's okay. Visiting dealerships, driving multiple cars, perfectly fine. But we don't, the problem is when you turn shopping into buying. That's the problem. You tell your kids, hey, kids, we're going to go out, we're going to look at cars this weekend. Yes, oh, God, Daddy, we're getting a new car, Mom. Yes, great. All right, we're going to go look. First, we're going to go to Toyota. Then we're going to go to Honda. Then we're going to see the Chevy. If we had time, we'll test drive a Nissan, and it's going to be a good day. All right, perfect. You come out there, you drive the first car. Next thing you know, Daddy's sitting down, Mommy's sitting down talking to the salesman. That's where this is where you ruined your shopping. You ruined your shopping. What is Daddy doing sitting down? Why are you sitting? Daddy, I thought we was going to Honda next. What happened? 4 cars we were going to drive. Yeah, but they said we got a good deal. It don't take them long. If you let them catch you, it don't take us long to catch you with something. Hey, we have some great deals today. The manager said this morning, we're not going to turn down any good deal. We're so far behind our goals. Anybody who makes us a reasonable offer today, the next thing you know, you're not shopping anymore. You're talking about buying. Y'all see the difference? Type locked in if that makes sense. That's why we had a specific step in our process. It's step 4. It's called shopping, not buying. Shopping is deciding what you want. Buying is coming home, getting multiple offers on what you want. And we don't mix those two. This is how you enjoy the process. This is how you wake up in 6 months and you still love the car because you took enough time to make your decision and you didn't let anyone rush you. We're not gonna let anyone rush you if you're doing this my way. Go ahead, Dolan. Roll the next one. But yeah, get those 6 companies. Get your equity assessment done. What's up, Terrell? Good to see you. Deshone, I sent out the initial contact template to the dealerships, and a lot of them are trying to get me to come in. That's why we have scripts. Listen, here's what I say to people that I work with. Whether it's, most of the time, this is people I'm working with in my coaching program here's what I say. I tell you up front, 80% of dealers are overpriced. 80% of dealers are here to make the process difficult. Because the more difficult they make the process, the more money they make. It's very simple. When you get my book, I have email scripts that reply to everything. For example, Terrell, when you open up the script for the initial replies, you'll see when they say, hey, when can you come in? We copy and paste. Actually, I'm going to be doing my entire process online. Do you have a car that I'm interested in? Do you have a match? Every script ends with a question. Whenever you are emailing a dealer, it should always end with a question. Somebody said, how much is the book? It's normally $97. If you go to my TikTok bio before the actual 30-minute timer gets to 0, you can get it for 75% off. So it'll be $24. So everyone who's visited that site already, if that timer started, it's going. So once it gets to 0, the price is $97. That's just our welcome offer for our new people. And you have a link in the YouTube comments as well as Facebook floating. You guys can see it. Instagram bio. Go activate your 75% off. It'll be in your inbox in a minute. But that's the whole thing. So let me read the rest of your question to see if it was something different. And a lot of them are trying to get me to come in and talk to them and test drive. What to do next? Resend another template. Well, there you go. No, you don't resend another template. We actually use the scripts. See, the reason why I know everything they're going to say is because those are templates too. When you guys get these emails, who gets the emails from dealerships? Hey, Jane, we love your 2016 Kia Sorento. We have a customer looking for that. My used car manager just said he needs that vehicle. Who's gotten that? Who's gotten those emails? Type me. Type me if you gotten it. Hey, I can get you out of good news. We looked at your 2021 Honda, and turns out we can get you in a new one for around the same price. When can you come in, or when can we have a conversation? Right? Thank you, Dion Skinner. Okay, look, how do we know? How do I know you all are getting those? Because we sent them from the dealership. We sent them from the dealership. Listen, if you're not tagging your best friend into this broadcast, you're being a little selfish, because your best friend's out there right now and they need a car and they about to go and overpay. So tag your best friend into this. Hit the share button and share with your best friend. This is what happens. Those are all templates. There's a software we would use, Mastermind, Momentum. What it does is it just searches the whole database and it sends out templates to these people. If we send out 1,000 emails, 100 are going to reply. It's going to lead to this many appointments. Those are all templates. That's not custom stuff. Those letters aren't, oh, they took the time to send me a letter. So it was easy for me to prepare the counter scripts because I know everything they're going to say. When can you come in? Can we have a phone call? You know, it'd be a lot easier. All the stuff is there. That's why there's 3 different sets of scripts in my book. And there's no other book that does this. Quite honestly, there's never been a book that I've seen that actually has links to videos, actually has links to documents with scripts that you copy and paste. That's why I said, when I tell you the book should be $500, it should be. And then it will be, I'm only going to sell it to the people who really, really value their money. And they would. And they'd be like, Deshone, this was an expensive book, but I tell you what, this book saved me more money than probably any book I ever bought. But again, that's not God's plan. God said, listen, make it affordable, son. The people who are going to get it, they don't have no excuse. They have no excuse now. If the book was $500, you could, man, I really would get the book, but I don't want to lose $500. Book's $24 if you get there before the timer. So the point is, Terrell, use the scripts, follow the process, realize it's a new process for you, but everything's accounted for. Everything in the process is accounted for. Just use your scripts. Everything they say, copy and paste, and keep the conversation moving on your terms. And don't try to turn an 80% dealer to a 20% dealer. They're not going to be that. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Let them eliminate themselves. Usually, if a dealer's going to make it hard, there's a reason. God, we use a strategy for leases and new cars called the 25 to 5. We connect with 25 dealers online in 20 minutes. Then we send this initial contact template that Terrell sent. That's going to give us 25 dealers' inventories we're shopping from. So we never have to worry about, hey, you know, I don't really have that car, but maybe I could get it. You're shopping with one dealer, you're shopping from one inventory. Whatever they got, that's all we got. No, we're shopping from 25 dealers' inventory. So now, out of the 25, we're looking to get 5 to 7 quotes, 5 to 7 offers. And you're going to see they're going to be $150 a month to $200 a month apart, minimum. Minimum. That's just how it is. And that's when you prove to yourself, holy crap, I see how different these dealers are. It's not close. It's not like, hey, I got 5 offers. This one was $605. This one was $590. This one was $580. This one was $570. Heck no. This one was $620. This one was $550. This one was $475. This one was $450. That's how far apart they are. The 80% make big money, big, huge commissions. Like, it ain't like, so the 20% are the people who we want to find and do business with. These are the people that compete. They want to beat their competition. We find them and we buy from them. Great question. Thank you, Terrell. Good to see you. Next question, Dolan. Amen. Good question. Good question. And that's very common. Again, very common. It's a new process. All right. I said, that's the same question. Same question, Dolan. What's up, Jaden? Buying my first used car this year. All right, putting $10,000 down with fair credit and a trade in worth $1,000. How do I maximize for the best car possible? First thing we want to decide is, should we be buying or leasing? This is very important. Now, I know many of you were taught on here, never lease a car. That advice is costing you thousands and thousands of dollars. And we'll go deep on that because I can't make a statement like that without going deep on this. But let me ask you, Jaden, do you have good credit, fair credit, not so good? You know, nobody knows you, so it's not like, you know. But I need to know this to properly answer the question, because some people, you know, they want to put a lot of cash into the transaction because they don't really have any credit. Let me know. I'm looking for your comment. Listen, you got to stay close to your keyboard. All of you who are asking questions, I want you to stay close to the keyboard. Dolan's pulling the questions in, and, you know, I want you to stay close, because I might ask you a follow-up question that I need to actually, you know, be able to answer it. So let me just assume. All right, let's just assume you have fair credit. Hang on one second. Let's assume you have fair credit. All right. Hang on. Okay. So let me tell you an outcome that's very common. And you could decide, this is all of you who have a child who's going to be getting a car, or you're going to be getting your first car. Like, listen up to this. We go wrong buying people their first car a lot of times, because typically when you buy a car, what's happening is you have to pay for the whole car. Some of you know every $5,000 on a car loan is about $100 per month. So when you look at and lock that into your head, every $5,000 is about $100 per month. So when you see a $5,000 car, $10,000 car, you should think $200 a month. When you see $15,000, you should think $300 a month. These are safe parameters for you to make sure you're not overcharged. You have to be able to understand a $50,000 car isn't going to be $500 a month to buy. It's going to start out around $1,000. So we need to know these things, because you can manipulate loans to make payments lower, and that's how you end up in a 9-year loan, because you went in saying, hey, could you get that car to 700? That car's nowhere near 700 with a good loan. 5 years, 6 years is the longest we go. I have a rule in my book called the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday. 72 months is the max loan we take, and the car should be paid off by its 10th birthday to avoid problems. So by the time a car turns 11, car should be paid off. So that way you could actually put money to the side for maintenance. These are all boundaries that we haven't had, that if you follow them, you're going to have a lot better experiences. So if you don't have the credit to lease, then I would say, okay, get yourself an inexpensive car, try to get a small loan. You know what? The first question is, how many years are you going to keep the next car? That's the first question. That is the first question. When you open up my book, the first question, if you and I were talking on the phone, Jaden, the first question I would ask you before credit, before anything, Jaden, how many years are you going to keep the car? Now, if you say to me, Deshone, I'm definitely keeping the car 10 years. I don't need a car every couple years at all. I'll keep a car a decade. Perfect. Forget about leasing. In my book, first step is, how many years are you keeping the next car? I want y'all to answer that. Everyone who's shopping, everyone who will be shopping, you're shopping now, or you're going to be shopping soon in the next 6 months, a year. I want you to answer the question. How many years are you keeping the next car? Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because everything else comes after that. When you're going to keep it 8-9 years, I'm going to show you the steps you need to make sure you get a car that will last 8-9 years. Plenty of people say, oh, I wanted to keep the car a long time, but you didn't take the steps to make sure you got a car that would last that long. So everything comes from this question first. How many years are you keeping the next car? So now, Jaden, let's say you say to me 8-9 years. Perfect. So now what we're going to do, we're going to the purchase path. not thinking about leasing. New car, used car, based on budget. Based on budget. Now you said you have a trade-in worth $1,000. I'm guessing it's an older car, so you can still put it through the equity assessment. But if you're saying it's worth $1,000, who told you that? See what I'm saying? See, the highest offer for your car is what it's worth. I want y'all to get into the habit of getting offers so that you know exactly what your car is worth, not letting one person tell you what your car is worth. So now let's just say, for example, your car is worth $1,000. Now we're looking at, well, do we get a new car, a pre-owned car? And if we get a pre-owned car, here's how we determine new car versus pre-owned car. Budget is one. Now let's say you could afford both. I could afford a new, I could afford a new pre-owned. Which one? Well, it's based on values. Some people, you only get a new car every 10 years. You're like, hey, I want to get me a new car. Because at the end of the day, over a 10-year period, the amount you pay for the new car, you'll get some of it back on the back end. And some people are like, I want to get a new car every decade. I want to treat myself. I could afford both. Some people are like, hey, I could afford both, but I'd rather knock 30% off. I don't need the latest one. I'd rather knock 30, 40% off what the price would be. It's just different values. There's no right or wrong there. In my book, I teach you both of those things. When you get to that step, that's how I help you make a decision. So sounds like, I would need more information. That's why I'm asking you, because I don't teach a one size fits all thing. I teach based on where you're at, here are your options. Pick one. Now, when it comes to buying versus leasing, oh yeah, one size fits all. Anybody on here who is not keeping their cars 8 years and you're buying them, you're losing thousands of dollars. You're just losing thousands of dollars. You can't compare. Like, look at somebody like Safrina. I use Safrina's deal. Oh, that's Teddy. Look at Teddy. That's a luxury car. Let's take a luxury car. Teddy got a $73,000 BMW. $73,000 BMW. He's paying $856 a month. He's not keeping it 8 years. He knows the 8-year rule. He said, okay, if I'm not keeping my cars 8 years, I'm gonna shop for a below market lease. He uses our bidding system. He gets multiple offers. He said the highest offer during the process was $1,123 a month. That was his highest offer. He's paying $856. When I tell y'all, if you don't have a system to reveal the 80% dealers who are overcharging people, you're buying from one of them. You're buying from one of them. They do business. It's not like these guys are going out of business. You're buying from one of them. And you see, but Deshone, they told me this was the best deal that they could, this was their best offer. It was their best offer. It wasn't their competition 20 miles away's best offer. It wasn't that small dealer that's 45 minutes away that doesn't get the traffic that this city dealer gets, that once they see your information and they say, wait, hold on, we don't get the opportunities they get where they could just charge people and then they keep coming back. We only see, 3 people a day sometime. Boom, okay. Listen, we're gonna beat their we're gonna beat them, and we're gonna have our license plate in their market. This is what you can't see that when you're in a dealership trying to make a deal, negotiate with them. So this is what you prove to yourself. The 80% dealers charge tons of money before, and they won't go below a certain price. They might take off $3,000. I ain't going no lower. That's it. You don't want the car? Next. See you later. Listen, sorry, I'm not selling the car for less than that. They have a minimum threshold, a maximum amount. We ain't taking less than this for our car. Their competition, they'll go $3,000 less than that. Got to get them. So now let's go back to the leasing versus buying scene. When you look at this and you look at Teddy, you can see, can you take that comment down, Dolan? Matter of fact, I got it. Look at Teddy. So $829 a month, he's paying $856. Now, $73,000 vehicle, that vehicle on a 5-year loan, every $5,000 is about $100 a month. That vehicle should cost $1,500 a month. Even if he got a huge discount, let's say he got 15 grand off. Somehow, magically, he got a ridiculous discount. Instead of 73, he pays 60. $1,200 a month, 5 years. $1,200. He's paying $856. No money down. We don't, and whenever we shop, what you're going to learn as you listen to me and you shop the way I'm telling you to shop, everything we shop is no money down. We might put money down later, but we only put money down after we guarantee we got the best deal. All right. Let me echo that. You only put money down after you guarantee you got the best deal. What does that mean? You paid the best price for the car. You found a dealer that's going to sell you the car for the lowest price. You found the bank that's going to get you the lowest money. You did this from home using online tools. If you're doing it manually, you call around. I don't care if you call around. It's harder than my way because, but you want to call around and try to get multiple offers from dealers. The point is, once you find the best offer, now we can put money down if I want to lower my payment. But what dealers try to get you to do, especially the 80% and the people you're used to dealing with, they want you to put money down to get to a payment you'll take the car for. Big difference. Hey, how much is this car? Hey, it's $1,100 a month. Yeah, I can't afford that. How much money can you put down? How much money can you put down? Man, I could probably put down like 15, but can you get me to like 700? Now you're trying to buy your deal. You're not focused on the interest rate. You're not focused on the price of the car. Is he even selling me this car lower than what I could get on the market? You're trying to buy your deal, which is why the 80% dealers, here's what the 80% dealers make tons of money doing, making you think you want. And all I want you to understand is this is simple, easy. That's hard. Once you step in, start doing this like Teddy, once you start doing this like Danielle, look, like Ansley, look, like Jen, all of these people get below market deals from home. Once you start doing it like this, you'll realize this is the easy way. At home, at work, man, I just bought a car. How you buy a car? Yeah, I didn't even see you spending all this time in dealerships. Look at all these offers in my email. Look, this offer, this offer, this offer, this offer. Yep, this the one. I just locked it up, saving me $7,000. You'll never go back. You'll never go back to the old way. You have to learn cars from home. All the money is over. All the overspending happens inside dealership, which is why we never do it. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's go, Dolan. Keep them queued up, bro. Let's go. To Cali, good to see you. Should you put a down payment on a car? Well, that's just what we were just talking about. What we were just talking about was, all right, let's talk down payments on leases. First of all, you got to realize something about a lease. Whenever you put a down payment down, if the vehicle's stolen and they don't find it, or if it's totaled, you don't get the money back. I'm not a fan of putting huge money down on leases, but unless you do one thing, you assess, well, two things technically. There's only two ways to lose your down payment. Car stolen and they don't find it, or it gets totaled. So here's what you ask yourself. How many cars have you had stolen in your life? Some of you are going to be like, man, I 3. I wouldn't be putting down payments on leases. Some of you like, Deshone, I never had a car stolen. Thank God. All right. You can check. You can check. Now, second question. The vehicle you're buying, what's the chances if you get into an accident, it can get totaled? You're buying a huge Jeep. You're buying a huge S-Class Mercedes. You're buying something that's very hard to total. You're good. You're good. You're buying a Honda Civic, putting $5,000 down on it. It's not a good. You're taking big risks. Big risk. So that's how we assess leasing. But here's the thing. This is how we shop for our leases. This is all in my digital book. We shop for our leases with only first month's payment down. That's really no down payment because when you lease, you give them your first payment, then you drive off. And when so that's how you do it. So first month's payment out of pocket, 12,000 miles per year. And we put taxes and fees in the payment. That's it. That's it. We get all our offers that way. The dealer's going to give you the offer based on how you told them to give it to you. If you told them, hey, just work me a lease out, they're going to work you out a random lease, $3,000 down, boom. When you see these commercials, these are not deals. Listen, you cannot never judge. I told y'all at the beginning of the stream, it's 3 prices you can pay for every car. Market value, above market value, below market value. Those are the 3 prices. Below market price is the people who got skills. That's the stuff we're talking about here. Below market comes from bidding. When you look at these offers, look at these commercials. Look at, let me show you a deal. Look, Ashley just got a 2024 Infiniti QX Lux. MSRP is $58,000, $58,490 to be exact. Said I'm only paying $554 a month with my first payment down only. Right under 1%. Now, some of you, if you're savvy, you've heard of the lease 1% rule. That's been around for probably 30 years. I created the 1.5% rule because people were overpaying for leases. People knew, the savvy people knew the 1% rule. They knew this is great value. This is a steal. You get a lease under 1%, no money down, you stole a vehicle. Doesn't mean it's your best deal because Zafrina got 0.88. So she got 0.88. So just don't think, again, bids. It's like, hey, you don't know how much you're going to save on a car. She didn't know she was going to get 0.88. She knew the 1% rule. She got her offers. She ends up closing the deal, $579 a month on a $65,000 vehicle. So this is how you shop. So once you get an offer, if it's between 1% and 1.5%, that's good value on the lease. The closer to 1, the more value. But in order to get 1, you need rebate. You need we don't understand sometimes the lease program. The dealer can't control that. So what we do is we shop. When you see a deal that's 1.1, 1.2, 1% low, that means there's a lot of rebates there. There's a lot of, there's probably great residual, low money factor, which is the interest rate. You can't control these things. All you can do is bid it out. Now, once you get to a payment and you're like, okay, I already know I'm under 1.5%. I got my 5 to 7 offers, so I know this is the best offer, but I want to drop my payment probably another $50. Now you put money down. You see what I'm saying? Type $ if you got that. You shopped your deal. You got your offers. Type a $ at that click. I'm talking to the people that's locked in. Listen, I know, unfortunately, we live in a world, a lot of people distracted. We sit here, we could talk big money all day long, and it's just flying past it. They got 100 other things on their mind. But the people who locked in, type a $ if you understand that. When you shop for offers, when you look at your lease offers, the way I just told you we shop for them, now we get the offers, we say, all right, boom. This is the best one out of 5 to 7 dealers I got. Let me now lower my payment. First of all, if you can afford that payment, just take the deal. Much better, put no money into the deal. That way, if God forbid it's total, boom, I come back, I do it again, ain't no problem. I didn't put no money into the car. But if you look and say, I want to lower my payment like $100 a month. First thing you do is assess what I told you a couple minutes ago. How many cars have I had stolen? The lower, the better. If it's one time, okay, chance of this car getting stolen, slim to none. All right, how easy is this car to total? Now, it's a big vehicle. Like, I'd have to get into a pretty bad once-in-a-lifetime accident for it to be totaled. Perfect. All right, you can throw $2,000 down. You can throw $3,000 down to lower the payment more. That's how you use down payment money. You never use down payment money to buy your deal. You must have the deal before you apply the down payment. You must have the lowest interest rate before you get the down payment. You must have the dealer who's selling you that car lower than anyone else before you apply the money down. That's when you know you have a deal and your down payment isn't being taken and used as profit. Anybody else, down payment's being used as profit. It's just padding the deal. Give us more money to work with. How much could you put down? 6? All right, let me go work this out. And they're just around moving money around. They're moving, you're buying a car from them, you're getting your loan from them, and you're giving them $6,000 to work with. They have all this money to work with. That's a dream customer. And if this is you, I don't want you to feel bad. I only want you to feel, because no one told you this until now. I only want you to feel bad if you keep repeating it, because you got no one else to blame. Right now, you have the opportunity to change everything and focus on what I'm teaching you. So no one can do this to you. But the dream customer comes in, got a car to trade, wants to buy a car, needs a loan. How much could you put down? I'd probably put down like 3,000. That's 4 things you just gave him to work with. I got money in your loan I can move around. I got money in your old car that you want to sell to me, trade. All right, I could use that. Got some margin there. Then in the car you want to buy, I got some margin there. Then I got your down payment money that I got margin. I'm just about to let me manipulate a couple things and here. That's what we don't want to do. All right? That's why we separate the transactions. This stream, if you get the 3 pillars of great car deals, separating your transactions, bidding them out, this can never happen to you. None of this stuff could ever happen to you. Okay? Everything we're going over is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. This teaches everything step by step, how to get below market leases, below market purchases, new cars, used cars, high mileage driving strategies. Some of you who are driving over 18,000 miles a year, you can't do some of this stuff is not, you need custom advice. See, again, I don't do one size fits all. You can't be an 18,000, 20,000, 30,000 mile a year driver and think you can actually use the same loan structures and all of that as a normal person. You're depreciating your car faster than them. So all of this is in my blueprint. It's in my new book. Get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, or we have a link in the comments for you on YouTube, and we have a floating link on Facebook for you guys. But if that timer hits 0, it's $97. And if I'm you, if I miss the 75% offer, I'm getting the book, knowing what I know. And there's people who have the book, they'll be like, hey, look, I don't care if you missed it. You need to get the book. It's $97, worth every penny. So I want you to have everything I teach. It'll be in your inbox in literally a couple minutes. It's a digital book. And as soon as you get it, you're going to see a thank you page, and it says screenshot this page. It's very important because on that page is the link to open the book. Then I email you a copy. Also on that page is the link to my support team, just in case you type your email wrong. Our system is great. We send out lots of books. It works every time. But if you mistyped your email, then you're not going to see the book. So make sure you have my support team's email. So if you don't see that book in 5-10 minutes, email my team, hey, and they'll get you the book right away. All right. Thank you, Skinner. Yeah, nobody ever broke it down like that. I'm glad. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I only want to pay first month's payment, and that's it out of pocket. That's 90% of our people, Skinner. 90% of our people. Hold on. I'm gonna get to hideout PA. You got the next question. Hold on. But look, 90% of our people, look, India, look, $365 a month, no money down. That's first payment only. Look, Melissa, look, got her hybrid Honda Pilot 2025, $597 a month. She made $12,000 on her equity assessment, sold her car. So $597, I'm just trying to see an MSRP, almost 50 grand. So it's a 1.2% lease. Look, nothing out of pocket, first month's payment. Look, Ansley. I gotta go get the rest. I didn't hit see more to get his detail. You see, Ansley got 2 cars. He just got another BMW. Hold on. Look. Milligan. Everybody, we pretty much, look, zero signing. Melissa. This is what we do. There's nobody who's better at this than we are. Listen, if I had the time and we did one stream where we just sat here for an hour, I could show you 100+ people. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I just show a dozen because I'm not going to spend too many. Look, if you don't get it from 10 people, you're not going to get it from 100. You know, if 10 people just like you who are showing their deals, paying less than you, don't persuade you, 100 wouldn't. But the point is, everybody shops with no money down. Because when you shop with no money down from now on, you will see it's easier because you can't confuse me. You can't confuse me when I'm shopping with no money down. You got to be great at math, which I love math. So, I mean, I love math. But you have to be great at math to put 3, 4, 5,000 down and be able to see where the money's actually going. So the best thing to do is compare. I could get this car, no money down. I could lease this car, no money down. What's my payment? And then you'll be able to see it. Dealers can't manipulate you. So definitely, that's all we do is no money down shopping. Okay, Dolan, you can put that one up. You can put that question up. I want to get to that. Hideout PA. In a 2-year lease, 2024 Jeep Hybrid, $1,500 down, $499, $10K a month. Good deal. You have nothing to compare it to. You have nothing to compare it to. And this is what I don't like. Listen, I'm not the one who tells people you got a bad deal. The only time I would tell somebody they got a bad deal is if they broke the 1.5% rule. So if you take no money down and you divide your monthly payment into the MSRP, if you were over 1.5%, there's no value in leasing that vehicle. You're paying too much for a car you're giving back in a couple months. So, hold on. Sorry. Yeah. So, sorry. So, but when I look at your deal, the reason why I hate this is because you've already gotten the car. And you're driving around and you don't even know you got a good deal. You're wondering if you got a good deal. That's very disempowering. It's a very disempowering position to be in. But had you gotten 4 other offers, you wouldn't have to ask me that. And what I want you to do is change that, because frankly, I would bet $1,000 that if I said to you, you think I could find that car for less than what you paid? Bet me some money. Would you bet me $1,000 that I can't find that exact same car you got for a lot less money? Would you take the bet? You'd probably be like, nah, I don't want to take that bet. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for any of you. Driving cars, and if God forbid you see Deshone the Auto Advisor one day and you're like, and I'm like, hey, yeah, you just got the car? Okay, great. If you don't feel like, hey, listen, I got 5 offers from these dealerships, and the one I picked, they were so much less than everyone else. See, I know you use what we're talking about. I know the people I run into that use what we talk about. They come up, the first thing they're doing is saying who made them the best offer. They're saying, hey, the dealer couldn't beat the rate I got from the credit union. I know you're using what we teach. They're like, yo, I had to go 150 miles to pick it up in the next state because they made me the best offer. I know you're using what we teach. That's when I know. When you come in and ask, hey, what you think about this deal? We have nothing to compare it to. So we look at something like, let's just take an average deal. Let's take an average deal. Let's take a big money savings. Let's always use Sean for an example. Because what you're trying to do when you're not getting bids the old way is you're actually feeling for the bottom, and you're hoping, I hope this price that I paid was the bottom. Shout out to the people running the likes up on TikTok. Every time y'all hear something y'all like, just keep tapping the screen for like, spend 10 seconds just, man, you know what? This dude is going in over here. Just spend 10 seconds. Every time you hear something you like, tapping the screen. Shout out to y'all running the likes up. But when you look at, hey, look, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I don't even know. That usually happens once I've been on for about an hour. That usually starts happening. Hideout PA just bought the book. Awesome. Listen, I'm answering your question right here. So, and look, next time, that's the thing. So again, I cannot tell you, oh, the MSRP was 49,000. Okay, so 49, 1,500 down. That's about a 1% lease. Solid. We don't know if you could have did better though, and that's the point. Again, Zafrina. Funny story about Zafrina, and she got this 0.88% lease, right? You're probably a little over 1% because you put about 1,500 down. So that $1,000 probably would have put you about maybe 1.1. Still great value. Absolutely great value. Great value. But Zafrina called me. She was shopping for a Jeep Grand Cherokee. She didn't call me, but we she's in my program. Again, we have Shop with Deshone, Shop with, blueprints. It's all up to you. However you like to learn, we provide it. So she was shopping for a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the best offer she had was like 1.1. And it was solid. But she was coming out of a Jeep where she was under 1%. Her lease was up. She was under 1% on her old lease. And she said, the guy told me if I take the hybrid version, or the electric version, he can get me down to 1%. No, I think she was maybe 1.2 on a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited at the time. She said if I take the hybrid version, he said I could do a 1%. He could get me to like 1%. I said, okay, if you're going to look at the hybrid, the electric version, that's an entirely different vehicle. The same dealers that you've been getting the offers from, run it past them now. That's a different lease program, different vehicle. Yeah, he might be able. Now look at this. Here's the big part. He was selling her the standard version lower than everybody else. But then he flipped her to the electric version because it had a better program. She ran the lease again, and another dealer sold that vehicle lower than everyone else. This is why this round robin system is so fun and empowering and revealing. You cannot trust any one dealer. We put them against each other, and that's how we win. So she ends up getting a 0.88% lease, $579 on this $66,000 Jeep. So that's the only thing. Even when we get a great deal, you never walk into a dealership say, "Get me to 1%, get me to 1.2, get me under 1.5." We don't say this stuff. We get bids. We never know where the best deal is going to be. We just never know. That's why we get bids. So everything we are learning is in my new digital book. Those of you who spent the last hour, 10 minutes with us, you're like, Deshone, I got it. I took a lot of notes. Perfect. But those of you who like Deshone, there's no way I'm going to remember all of this stuff. I want the whole step-by-step blueprint. That is Cars from Home. My new digital book is called 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You're going to learn how to get below-market car deals on leases, new cars, and used cars, and without spending more than 30 minutes in a car dealership. You'll be doing this from home. Everything we do is putting dealers against each other, making banks bid. We don't beg for these discounts. None of these people you saw me share, they know we don't do any begging. We are the prize. You are the prize. You haven't acted like it. You haven't accepted it. You haven't shopped like it. You're begging. Hey, come on, can you take off another $50? Come on, $25 a month. You're going to lose a deal over this. This is begging. You're begging someone to give them a $50,000 transaction. We don't do that. We're at home, empowered. Everything we do is in there. You have it in your inbox in literally minutes, and you can get it as long as you get there before the 30-minute timer is up. You get it for 75% off. So you won't pay the normal $97 price. You get your copy in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, or you can click the link in my YouTube comment or Facebook below. So shout out to the people that's locked in. Skinner, shout out to you, Hideout PA. Shout out to the people who are like locked in. I know I can only help a small percentage of people. That's the sad part. The sad part is when I came to the internet, a bunch of smart people who studied the internet, they do this. I never sold any products on the internet. They told me, Deshone, doesn't matter how inexpensive you make it, you can't help everybody. They're not mentally gonna let you help them. I said, no, that's impossible. Nah, I said, look, no way. No, I'm gonna be so transparent. I got the industry experience. We got hundreds of testimonials. They go to all my pages. They can see their peers, people just like them, grandmothers, single mothers, all that. They said, Deshone, none of that matters. You can only help a small percentage. And they've been right, and I used to be disappointed. I really did. But now I focus on the people who are locked in. Whatever God gave me, whoever God assigned to me, I'm focused on you. That's it. So I'm here to make sure Hideout PA wins. She got the book. I'm here to make sure that Skinner wins. I'm here. Anybody who locked in, hey, Deshone got the book. You talking to me. I'm the 10%. I'm the 20%, whatever percentage it is. But the rest of you, you got to evaluate yourself, because you're going into a very expensive purchase that is the second most expensive purchase you're ever going to make. And you're going in to deal with sharks. Like, you really live that. Like, you're really ready for that. I spend more time warning you of what the inside is like because I've been in the inside. I can go back to sell cars if I wasn't running a company to educate you guys. I can make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year selling cars. This is not hard for me, but I know what it's like. I know who sits next to me. I know it's people who, when you sit down next to them, your head's coming off and you're going to leave with a smile. It's an art. It's a science to making a customer leave with a smile. We got people who pay $200 more per month than they could have got, but they leave smiling. Don't let them run into their neighbor, though, that's got the same car and got a better deal. $200 less. Wait, you got the same car? What happened? They knew something you didn't know. So that's my warning. Shout out to the people that's locked in. Get your book for 75% off. Make sure you screenshot the thank you page. The book is right on the thank you page. As soon as you pay, you can download it, add it to your inbox, and just use it and win. And make sure you email me your success stories. All right. I'll see y'all in the next stream. God bless you. And answers. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We're about to go very deep to make sure that you get the answers you need when it comes to buying or leasing your next vehicle. And we want you to have below market strategies. You can't pay market value, and you can't pay above market value. The goal when you are purchasing or leasing a car is to get a below market deal. That's the only deal. If you pay market value, you're paying what everyone else paid. It's not a deal. If you pay above market value, you're paying higher than what most people pay. It's definitely not a deal. The only deal is below market value. I see you, Rachel. We're gonna start off with you. I see your question on coming in on TikTok. So Dolan, we get ready to pull these questions in. As you guys start typing your questions, we're gonna have Dolan pull them into the show so you can start typing. And I want you to know that everything you're gonna learn over this next hour is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I wrote this book. I put 14 years of industry experience in the car business, working with dealers, working inside Mercedes-Benz, inside General Motors, and I created a 7-step process for you to get below market leases, below market finance deals, below market loans, below market cash purchases, below market used cars, and I have high mileage strategies in there for those of you who drive over 15 or 18,000 miles a year. It's all in there step by step, and you can get your copy for 75% off as part of our book launch offer. You can click the link that's floating on Facebook. You can click the link below on YouTube. We have a comment pin for you, and inside my TikTok and Instagram bios, you guys have a 75% off link for 30 minutes. Once that timer goes to 0, the price does go back up to $97. It's still worth it at $97, but I'd rather you save the 75% off the total price so you have even more value. So get your copy immediately. Don't let it go down to 0 before you get your copy. All right, let's get started, Dolan, with the first question. Start typing your questions, guys. We're going to get through as many as we can in 1 hour. And as you come in, can you hit the like button? It does matter. It does activate the algorithm. It does let these platforms know that we need more people over here so we can help them protect their money. Okay, this question came from Rachel. What's the best time to get a car? I drive a 2014 and I own and I owe $18,000. What is the best advice you can give on trading a newer vehicle? It's under 18, it's under 100,000 miles. Okay, Rachel. So one of the things that the first sense I get is I don't like you still owing that much money on a car that's 10 years old already. I have a rule that I teach. It's called the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday. That means that you never want to take a loan longer than 72 months, but you also don't want a loan on a vehicle past its 10th birthday. And I'm going to tell you why. In 14 years in the car business, I've seen tons of people have things go wrong about the 10-year mark. Now, there's nothing wrong with things going wrong because that's why you have a car, so that you can put a little money into it, maintain it, and keep it driving for as long as possible. The problem is when you have a loan on that car, now what you're doing is you're repairing the car while you're making, hold on. I had to turn the Bluetooth off. Okay, so the problem is you're repairing that car while you're making payments on it. I call these the 4 expenses. The 4 expenses for a car are what you pay for it every month, if you have a loan, what you pay for gas, what you pay to repair it, and then what you pay to maintain it. Maintaining is oil changes, brake fluid changes, tire rotations, new tires. These are, replacing brakes. These are maintaining it. Repairing it is if something breaks on the car. And it's that I call that the 4th expense. That's what most people are not ready for. And what I see is if you have a loan past the 10th year, you're getting hit with you're getting hit with all 4 expenses. And if you've ever seen someone who has a luxury vehicle and they hate it, they usually are buying cars that are too old and taking loans that are too long on them. Because you'll see they hate the vehicle because BMW, you got your BMW, you go drop it off, they tell you, hey, you need brakes, that's maintenance. Then, hey, your navigation system or your electric system is messing up, that's $2,000. And then, you still had to put premium gas in the car, so you could leave out of there, it costs $5,000 in 1 month. And people will be like, man, I hate this car. But the car is not the problem. The problem is you took a loan on a car that was too old, and you took a loan that was too long. That's why I created the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday. No loans longer than 72 months, and then your car needs to be paid off by the 10th birthday. Now, what happens if you look at the car you want and you can't afford that payment for 6 years? That means you can't afford that car. That doesn't mean stretch the loan out to 7 years or 8 years so that you can try to afford it. Right now, we could all go and we can look at a $700,000 house. Maybe most of us can't afford the mortgage on that, but if we stretch the mortgage out to 50 years, then maybe we can afford the mortgage on it. Doesn't mean it's a good financial decision. So if you're going to finance again, Rachel, I want you to keep that in mind. When you replace your current car, if you're going into another finance, which I don't recommend if you're not keeping this next car 8 years, because you're going to be in the same position again, you should be going into a below market lease. Then if you're keeping the car long term, then go to another finance and then make sure you're not buying too much car, taking out too many loans on it, and taking out too long of a loan. Use that as an affordability index. If I can't afford this car on a 6-year payment and I can't add up, here's how you do it. You look at the car, ask yourself, how old is it? If it's 6 years old, that means I got to take a 4-year loan. If it's 5 years old, that means I got to take a 5-year loan. It can't be greater than 10. You are taking way too much risk. And you're going to end up in this position where you're looking and you're like, how do I still have a car payment? Things starting to go wrong on this car. I'm nowhere close to paying it off. What did I do wrong? That's what you did wrong. Now, if you want to avoid this altogether and say, all right, what can I do in a different structure? You will be going into a lease. If you're shopping a below market lease, what that's going to do is make sure you can pay a low payment on a brand new car. It's always going to be under warranty, and you just keep doing that. You look like somebody who you're just used to having a car payment anyway. So you want to switch the way you make those car payments and start paying it into new cars versus these 10-year-old cars or 8-year-old cars that you're paying these payments into, and you're not getting much back in terms of return or quality or anything like that. So that's the first thing that I would concern myself with is, Rachel, how many years are you going to keep the next car? If it's 8 or more, then you purchase again. If it's less than 8, then Deshone, talk to me about a lease, because I'm not keeping this car at 8 years. I don't keep any car 8 years. All right? It's a great question. That's where we need to start out. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Okay, this one is Love and... Okay, I don't want to even try to pronounce it, but you can see who you are. If I'm upside down, how can I trade or sell without having to pay the difference or getting a higher note? So now you're asking a question that... All right, so this person said if I'm upside down, that means they owe more on the car than it's worth. How can they get out of that car and go into another car without paying the difference or having a higher note? So I'm going to give you the way it's possible, depending on your situation, and realizing that in my book, there is one person, there's two people actually, but really one main person who, it doesn't matter how good your credit is, you're not going home with a new car, because negative equity is, you have too much negative equity. So there are cases where doesn't matter. You come in with an 800 score. I call negative equity the bad credit for people with good credit, because it's the only time when I was in the dealership, people would walk in and they would say, you know, okay, we look at the car and then we look at their current situation and the maximum amount they can pay. And then we look and say, hey, look, the bank's not going to approve this. You can't roll over 10 grand of negative equity to that $30,000 car and do no money down. So there are circumstances where you've dug yourself too deep, and the only thing that's going to do it if you don't have money is time and paying down the vehicle. So let's talk about if you're not in that situation. First thing I'm doing is I'm going to CarMax. I'm going to driveway.com. These are websites. This is because you notice what she said. If I trade or sell, that's very important, because some of you, you've been on the stream, you know we don't sell. I mean, we don't trade. We always sell our cars to cash buyers. You know, that come, they write big checks, they pay more than dealers. So the first thing we're going to do is visit these cash buying websites: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus. That's going to give you 6 independent offers. Now, once you get those 6 offers, that's going to tell you how much negative equity you have based on your payoff. You need to call your bank and ask them, how much is my payoff? That's the amount you owe. Don't look at your statement. Call your bank, make the phone call, and find out your payoff. Now, you look at what your payoff is, and you look at what your highest offer is. If your highest offer is the same as the payoff, you're break even. If your highest offer is 20, but your payoff is 15, that means you got 5,000 of equity. If your highest offer is 10 and your payoff is 15, you got 5,000 negative equity. So now the best thing to do is what I call pay the difference. Because when you pay the difference, now you can go into your next transaction and you can do a clean transaction. Clean transaction. So whatever deal you get on your next car, it's clean. You're not bringing any baggage over. You can shop multiple offers. There's no limits. But if you can't pay the difference, now you have to do what we don't like doing, which is trade. And there's going to be a ton of people with negative equity, because a lot of people bought cars that were overpriced from 2020 to 2022. You know, we were trying to warn people to lease, to ride out the market, buy inexpensive pre-owned cars to ride out the market, or, you know, keep their current car and not shop if they didn't have to ride out the market. Some people didn't take that advice, and they went and they overpaid because they had no shopping strategy. And now they're going to be 15 grand negative equity trying to get another car. So if you can't transfer, you know, there's limits to what you can transfer. If you can do what we teach and you actually can shop the market the way we teach, you might get a deal like this. Let me show, this is Milligan's deal. She just made this deal a couple days ago. It was for Mercedes-Benz brand new EQS. It's an EQE. It was a $79,000 vehicle using our shop from home strategy. She never left the house to get this discount. She went from $79,000 to $51,000 on a brand new vehicle. And if you're on Instagram or if you're on YouTube, you guys can see this. So we can't share the entire versions on Facebook and on TikTok. But if you like, anybody who wants to see, okay, I want to see these things that Deshone is sharing, you can go right to our YouTube page, Deshone the Auto Advisor. And you go right to Instagram and you'll see the actual documents. This is her deal. She's posted up $79,000, $51,000. Why is this so important? Because when the bank goes to lend on this vehicle she bought, they're lending based on the fact the MSRP is 79. So the banks will usually lend up to 20% more of the MSRP if you have good credit. So 79, the max they'll lend is another 20% of that. So let's say, $96,000 is the max they're going to lend on a $79,000 car. So let's just say you have 15,000 negative equity. Now you don't know how to shop. You don't get the same discounts we're getting. You don't have that same thing. You can't slap all of that negative equity on and your taxes and your fees because you're going to blow out the loan to value ratios. The bank's not going to approve it. But when you find a car that has specific rebate, and we don't know this, she didn't know she was going to save $25,000 off this vehicle. What is that? Almost $30,000 off this vehicle. She didn't know that. She just said, I like this vehicle. Deshone, I'm going to use these shopping strategies, same strategies you'll have in my book. It'll literally be in your inbox in minutes. Same strategies we've used to help people do this all around the country. Now, all right, I saved almost 30 grand. Now I can bring my negative equity of 15 grand over to this vehicle, bury it, and I'm okay. So it's very important. The more negative equity you have, you are targeting a vehicle, or you're trying to find a vehicle where you can get such a big discount, you can transfer that over, go from a non-quality vehicle usually to a quality vehicle, because you're already in a vehicle that's not worth what you owe. That's important to understand. You're already in a vehicle that's not worth what you owe. The key is to getting that into a vehicle you're going to enjoy, and at least a vehicle that is safe and quality, and preferably you're leasing. Because the great thing about transferring negative equity to a lease is once that lease is up in 3 years or 39 months, the negative equity is gone. When you transfer that over to a finance, another 5 or 6 year finance, you're bringing the negative equity over, stretching it out for 5 or 6 years and putting interest on top of it. That's why I don't ever recommend go from a finance negative equity deal to another finance negative equity deal, because you're usually a short-term person anyway. You should be leasing cars. So this is the strategies for getting out of negative equity. Now you can literally go into a dealer. See, watch this. That's a below market strategy for negative equity. What I just talked to you about is what the people who are actually financially wise do and think about. Now you could say, well, I'm just going to go into the dealer and say, hey, I want to get out of this car. Perfect. They'll transfer you out of that. They'll go in and say, all right, we got it. Here's your payment. We put you on a 4-year lease, or here's your payment. We got you in a 6-year, 7-year finance. But you'll never know the discount you're getting because you don't care. Your whole thing is, I don't really want to unlearn what I've been taught and programmed to do. But if you want to say, I want to make the best deal possible and I want to stop making these mistakes that's getting me into these bad deals, I've never had to come and deal with 5, 6 grand, 2 grand of negative equity. It's never happened to me. But there are people, you might be one of them, who every deal you make, it's a negative equity situation. It's a negative equity situation. That's because you haven't learned how to structure your deals correctly. And those are the things that I want you to unlearn so that you can have empowered car buying, be making deals you feel great about, posting your numbers just like Milligan did and saying, hey, check out the deal I made. Not just check out the car I got, check out the deal that I made, okay? So that's what you need to understand. And if you can't, and that's how you can transfer out of negative equity, whether you have 10 grand negative equity, 5, 15, those are your options. And that's how we work it. All of this, guys, is in my new digital book. If you're enjoying what you're hearing so far, could you hit the like button? Hit the like button if you're just enjoying what you're hearing so far. I see y'all are running the likes up on TikTok. I appreciate it. As y'all keep tapping the screen, every time you're like, man, you know what? This is good information. Just hit the like button, start tapping the screen. It means a lot. And again, it shows these social media platforms that they need to get more people over here. Okay. So go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next question up. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We are going to try to get through as many as we can. I see you, Patrice Darden. I see you, Mr. Living Right. I see you, Letitia Cook. Good to see everybody tapping in. What's up, Mex? I see you, Kiki. We're live on 2 TikTok channels, too. We're on 2 TikTok channels today. All right. Nairobi Ash, what's the fastest way to sell a lease? I'm over by 18,000 in miles and have 19 payments left. Okay. Here's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you, this is, now, who has a lease right now that they're pacing to go over their mileage? They're pacing to go over their mileage. Who has a lease right now? You haven't gone over yet, but you're pacing because you're not over until the end of the lease. If you tell the leasing company you're going to drive 12,000 miles per year, then they want the car back with 36,000 miles on it. If you sign for 15,000 miles per year, then they want the car back with 45,000 miles in 3 years. You do a 20,000 mile a year lease. Some of you might have not known you can do high mileage leases. We talk about that all the time. It's only a couple dollars more when you get below market deals. If you're not keeping cars 8 years, the high mileage leases are some of the best things you could be doing. It's literally pennies on the dot, cents on the dollar compared to purchasing. And we never have negative equity, and we drive as much as we want in these new cars. If you're pacing, once you bring the car back, you could do 10,000 miles your first year, 20,000 miles your second year, 8,000 miles your third year, as long as the total at the end doesn't exceed what you told them you were going to spend, then you would be fine. So you're not over your miles, you're pacing to go over your miles. So here's what I'm going to give you, Nairobi, because this is a very, very complex thing when you don't have calculators. When you don't have tools, it's complex unless you're really good at math. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this comment on YouTube and Facebook. Now, in my book, I have calculators that I've invented. This is actual software that people who use my books and who have worked with me since 2021 have gotten to use. These are things that I looked around the industry and I saw things that people needed to know that didn't exist. So we had to actually build them out ourselves. And so that's why when you get my digital book, you have access to like 5 different custom calculators that we made that no one else uses. So one of them is this lease penalty calculator. Now, if you're pacing to go over your miles, here's what you got to understand. If you call a dealership, one of the biggest lies that they're going to tell you is, come on in, I'll take care of the mileage, or I'll take care of the penalties, or we'll get you out of the lease. Who's heard that before? Type me if you've heard that. Type me if you've ever spoken to a dealer, if you said, hey, I'm going over my miles, or hey, I'm thinking about I want to get out early, and they said to you, no problem, come on in. We'll get you out of that. Don't worry about your old payments. Who's heard that? Who's heard that? Okay, type me. I told y'all, you got to stay by your keyboards when you're on these live streams. This is not, you're not watching somebody play video games where you could just be like, all right, yeah, let me just watch this person. Nah, this is active learning. This is stay by your keyboard because we dialogue with each other. All right, Latesha, I see you. Carol, yes, I see you. Harold Driver, yes, I see you. All right, so here's what happens. Those payments and that penalty that you drove over your miles, they don't get taken care of. They get rolled into your next deal. The only way lease payments disappear is if they have something called a payment waiver. And that's for loyalty in some cases. They don't say, hey, you got a Honda, you're buying a Toyota, we'll waive those old payments. They'll say, we'll take care of them. But what that means and what you need to know and what we know is that means I'm rolling them into your next car. So you're paying for that car in this new car. We don't like to make deals like that because it's baggage. It's baggage. So what we want to do is we want to find out if we're pacing to go over our mileage, does it make more sense for me to get, thank you, Tim. That's actually a good statement. Ain't nothing free. That's a good statement that a lot of people don't understand. When they say, hey, I'm throwing in these floor mats for you. Hey, I'm throwing in key protection. That means there's so much money in the deal that we have to actually, it's something called padding the deal. The finance manager and the team, they're trying to just pack. We got so much profit in this deal. We need to figure out how to allocate some of this so it's justified. So when you hear them say that, oh, he threw in all this, he threw in all of this for me, that means you got a horrible deal. Sorry to tell you, but I got to give you the bad news first so that you understand. All right, it's smoke and mirrors, but I'm not gonna make these mistakes again. You have a whole $1 billion industry that is really hell bent on keeping you shopping the same way you've been shopping, because it keeps them on the Fortune 500 list. It keeps them publicly trading at a good profit. But our people and the people who listen to us, those of you who locked in, you're gonna be the ones that everybody else buying up here, but we buying down here. So let's get back to this point. So you want to see, if I'm pacing to go over my mileage, does it make more sense for me to replace the car now? In which case, my payments would be due. If I stop my lease 3 months early, and in Nairobi's case, she has 19 payments left. If she was to go and stop her lease now, those 19 payments get billed out immediately. So if she walks into a dealer and says, hey, get me out of this car, they're going to try to either see, can they buy it, or do we make the payments and roll them over? Well, it's what happens most of the time, and it's usually a better situation, guys, is you would use that lease penalty calculator, you put in how many miles you're driving per month, and it's going to tell you, if you go all the way to the end, this is how much your mileage penalty would be. I had somebody who I work with use that calculator. He found out the mileage penalty would be a little over $2,000. But if he got out now, his payment and mileage penalty would be $5,000. See, first thing we want to do when we find out we're going over mileage is, let me try to get out of this car. Oh, you don't realize that that's a bigger penalty you're paying, breaking the lease early, versus go to mileage, and then you find yourself a below market deal. You get yourself a deal like this. Get yourself a deal like this, because I told you I'm gonna be showing a lot more people. We had so many people get cars over the last couple of days. We gonna be showing these people. Look, this is Melissa. Melissa got a 2025 Honda Pilot EXL. She got a 15,000 mile a year lease. And oh man, I didn't even when I screenshot her, hold on. When I screenshot her deal, I didn't open it up with all the details that she shared. So hold on, stay with me, because y'all got to see this. She got a 1.27 lease. And if she would have let's say she was in a situation where she had a $2,000 mileage penalty, it would be simple for her to just literally roll that mileage penalty over here on top of her 1.2% lease. So this was her full deal right here. It says 15,000 miles per year, $597 a month. And look, she sold her old car because she was used to financing. This is the perfect example of someone who was taught never lease, never lease. She paid all this money to finance these cars. She had a 2018 Kia Sorento, and she would normally go in, trade that car in, and then use whatever equity she had, 5,000, 7,000, 8,000 as a down payment towards her next finance. And she just kept doing it over and over and over again, paying high payments, losing her equity. So she discovers me. She finds out she's not keeping cars 8 years. She's like, all right, if I'm not keeping cars 8 years, I'm not breaking Deshone's 8-year rule. I'm going to shop for a lease. So now she shops for her lease. She gets the same car she would have gotten and paid tons of money for, $800-900 a month for, because she was financing it. But now she actually she financed. She gets her new lease, $597 a month. And look, she did her offers, the 6 offers I told y'all to do, 10 minutes ago. $12,000 in equity. So she goes in, she gets the new car, no money down, $597, drives off in a brand new $50,000 vehicle. Then she gets a check and she puts it in her bank for $12,000. It's the way the money moves. If you understand what I'm saying, if you're starting to, even if you don't get it all, if you're starting to understand type of dollar sign, it's the way the money moves. This is already a woman who likes driving newer cars. It's obvious. She has a 2018. She's going to upgrade it. So she would normally just go trade it in, finance another car, keep it another 5-6 years, trade it in, finance another car. It costs big money to finance these cars. It costs huge money. So now what she did is she said, okay, I drive 15,000 miles a year. I'm just going to get a 15,000 mile a year lease. If she would have got a 12,000, payment would have been $25 less. If she needed 18,000 like Jen, look at Jen's deal. Jen needed 18,000. Where's Jen? Here she is. Look, she says $512 a month. She got a CRV hybrid, and some of these vehicles are very in demand. So when you see vehicles that are closer to the 1% leases, these are vehicles that have bigger rebates, more support behind them. And sometimes you see vehicles that are 1.2, 1.3. They have a little less support from the manufacturer, but you still need to shop to get great lease deals because most people are paying, either huge down payments or then, they're paying over 1.5%. Again, let's stay on topic though. If you look at Jen, she said my payment was $512. I bumped it up because I wanted 18,000 miles a year to $563. Look, she shopped the payment. She shopped her deal from home the way we teach. She got 25 dealers to get involved online, never talked to them, got bids, used my email scripts, and she said, okay, my best deal for 12,000 miles is $512 a month. All right, now bump me up to 18,000. So she's getting, a lot of people would have just signed the 12,000 and then been talking about penalties that they're paying because they didn't get what they need. We teach something called choosing your mileage wisely. She paid $40-$50 a month and she can drive her 18,000 miles a year, take her trips, do her crossroads, go see her kids in college and not have to worry about anything for $40-something more a month. It's the pennies. That's called being penny wise. Some people will be penny, that's called being dollar wise. Some people will be penny wise. It's called penny wise, dollar foolish. You have to get the mileage you need on a lease. And if you choose your mileage wrong, don't blame the lease. The lease is not a real person. The lease only goes what you put in. If you tell them, work me a lease payment with no money down, that's how they're going to customize it. If you say put the taxes and fees in the payment and give me offers, that's how they're going to customize it. You might have to tell them 2 or 3 times because they're so used to just telling people, hey, we need $5,000 down. So you might have to tell them that, but the lease is based on you. If you say, hey, I need 25,000 miles a year to drive, that's what they're going to quote you. That's what they're going to customize. So we always shop with 12 and then we adjust our mileage later. But that's what you need to see, Nairobi. So you're going to see, use that calculator I put the link for. It'll tell you whether it makes sense to get out now, later, or at the end. But the last thing I want you to compare that to is the equity assessment. I want you to go to CarMax, go to Driveway, go to Carvana, go to KBB Instant Cash Offer, go to Driveway, go to AutoNation, go to Car Gurus, get those 6 cash offers because you may be able to sell your car. And in which case, if you sell your car, all is forgiven. If you sell your car, there's no penalties, there's no nothing because you're actually transferring the title and the buyer is paying the company off. So do that equity assessment. But when you go to those websites, you must put in, when they ask you, is it a finance, lease, or own, put own. Don't put lease because it triggers something in their websites. Now, if y'all are like, you're like Deshone, I'm not going to remember all of this. Get the blueprint. That everything I'm teaching you is out of my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Shout out to the people on Goodreads who have reviewed it. We're at a 4.9 rating. We got 4.9 overall, 58 ratings, 40 written reviews. Shout out to everybody who's came and told their story about this book since we launched it a few months ago. And you can go and see what the public is saying about it. This ship has sailed. You can get your copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. If you visited the website in my TikTok bio and my Instagram bio, once that gets to 0, there's a countdown, 30 minutes. Once it gets to 0, the price of the book goes back up to $97. It's still worth every dime, but I'd rather you pay $24 instead of $97. So on Instagram, TikTok, your 75% off is in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio. Get it before the countdown expires and you'll have the blueprint. On Facebook and YouTube, we have a link in the comments for you pinned for you to get your copy for 75% off for 30 minutes only. Again, if you're like Deshone, this is good, But there's no way I'm gonna remember all of this. You can watch the replays, get it however you want it. Our system is step by step, and it doesn't involve talking. Everything we do is online tools. Okay, go ahead, Dolan. Let me take a sip of water. Next question. And you can buy more miles on the lease. That's a good point. A lot of people don't know that though, Tim. They really don't. You know, they might have signed a bad lease or heard somebody sign a bad lease, and then usually what signing a bad lease is overpaying for it or not getting the mileage you need, or both. I've had people who know they're not going to drive 10,000 miles a year, but because it's $40 a month less, or because they don't know, just pay $40 more and get what you need. They'll just take the 10,000. It's a horrible decision, and it leads to a terrible lease experience. All right, this is Teneros. How much should I put down as a down payment? It's a great question. So what you want to do is understand that down payment is nothing but payment management. It is not deal management. You don't want to fool yourself into thinking that because you got a good payment, you got a good deal. That's what down payments typically can do to a person who's not really good with math. You'll say, all right, I need to get my payment to $400. Now you're looking at a car you like, and you're like, I need to get my payment to $400. Now they tell you, okay, well, you end up putting $10,000 down and your payment's $400, and you think, okay, I got a deal. I'm at my payment. You didn't. You are doing one of the cardinal sins that we don't do here at Cars from Home. You're mixing transactions together. What does that mean? Almost everybody who's financially savvy when it comes to cars is going to separate their loan from the purchase price of the car. These two things are unrelated. You shop for the price of the car separate from the monthly payments. Because when you separate, you realize one thing. When most people are giving car dealers 3 transactions and not realizing it. They're buying a car from them. That's one transaction. They're giving their loan to them, or they're letting the dealer get them a loan. That's another transaction. And then they're trading in their car to them. That's a third transaction. So a person looks at it as one. I just made a deal with a dealership. No, you just actually did 3 transactions in one. And what happens, the reason why that's so bad is because you can't bid any of them out. In order to make sure you got a great deal, you need a great deal on each of those 3. The car you need to replace, you need to get the most money for that. The most money comes from bidding it out on the market with the strategies I just said 5 minutes ago with the companies that I just named, the equity assessment process. That's bidding that out. Now, we bid out our loans. Who's going to give us our loan? Who's going to give us the best interest rate? There's plenty of banks that want to compete for our interest rate. Plenty of banks that they don't even sell cars. That should be a clue to you guys of how much money is really in cars, because there's companies who don't sell cars. All they want to do is loan you money to buy a car. That means there's a lot of money in the loan business. So we bid that out. And there's a way we use a strategy. When you get my digital book, you get something called the Bank Bidding War Blueprint. This is how we make banks and credit unions bid for our credit, bid for our loan. We have 20, 30 people bid without affecting our credit negatively. There's a specific way that credit bureaus allow you to do this. It's called rate shopping, where it's within a certain window. But if you're getting pre-approvals with hard credit pulls and then you're going out shopping, you're not going to be able to do this, because you're going to get a hard credit pull here. Then a month later, you go find your car. That pre-approval expires. Now you got to do another hard credit pull. You already hit your credit twice, and you're outside of the rate window. It's just what most people are doing. And that's why when you get a pre-approval, most people become scared to shop now, because they don't want to let anyone else run their credit. So you're limiting yourself. But the Bank Bidding War shows you how to have unlimited people bid for your interest, and we do that after we find our car. But the third transaction is when we're going to buy a car now, the car we're buying, we're going to shop the used car market, look at all the marketplaces. I have a strategy I call the multiple marketplace strategy, where we're looking at all these websites like Amazon. I mean, we're shopping like we're shopping for a TV on Amazon, Walmart, BestBuy.com, but except we're on these car websites. Now we're narrowing it down, narrowing all the inventory down to the top 5 choices. And we're narrowing it down based on title, service records, accident history. We're verifying there's no bogus fees. And then we come up with our top 3 after we get the new car price of these vehicles. This is all, again, step by step. And some of you, you're like, this should be expected. This is what car shopping should be like. Car shopping is not like buying a TV. It's closer to buying a house. So although we do this in 2 hours, if you follow my strategy, you can get deals in 2 hours. Without these things, you're now winging the process. But first things first, when you determine, when you add to this question was about how much money should I be putting down? When we separate our transactions, now what we've done is we went out and we found the car we want at a below market price. Now we go to our lenders and we start the bidding process and we say, okay, who's going to give me the best interest rate? And whoever gets me the best interest rate, now I put it together with the car that I have on hold. And I say, okay, what's my car payment now? And they may say, okay, well, if you finance the whole thing, your car payment's, $580. Now you might say, okay, I think I want to be at like $499. How much do I need down? Well, about $3,000. Okay, perfect. That's between you and the lender. It's not between you and the dealer. You're not, see, in that case, now you have the best price on the car waiting for you because you got bids on that. You got the best loan because you got bids on it. And now your down payment is actually going off the principal of the car, not it's going to pad the deal and the profit from the dealer. If you got that, type $. If you got that on TikTok, just start double tapping the screen, running the lights up. That is why it's important. We call that the 3 pillars of great car deals. You'll have to see these 3 pillars separately. Who I sell my car to, I'm bidding that out. Who I get my loan from, bidding that out. Who I buy my car from, bidding that out. And that allows you to sit at your computer and make all the money on your car deal and have these deals that, all of these people are making these deals at home. Look, this is India. She said she started using my strategies last year, but she shopped the market at the time. She was shopping for a Toyota Corolla, and she did not like the offers at the time. That's the benefit of starting these strategies way before you need a car. Look, we got people who get cars in 3-4 days, but when you have time, you can shop the market. She didn't like how the offers looked, and she waited. She said the best of all my offers were over 1.5% with no money, with no one budging on my counter offers. Fast forward 2024, I had to find a car in 2 weeks, so I got to work. In about 5 days, I walked out with a 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited, $36,000 for 36 months, $12K, $365 a month, no money down. Boom, $365 a month, no money down. The MSRP was $28,725, making it a 1.27 deal. People would kill right now to be able to buy a car, drive a brand new, dependable car, fully warranted car, shop from home, never had to be stressed out in a dealership, begging for discounts. She's sitting at home and she drives off at $365 a month, brand new car, no money down. This is what it's about, people. It's about learning the strategies so that you keep the most money in your household. Okay? Everything I'm teaching you, everything India used is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy as part of our launch offer for 75% off in my TikTok bio or in my Instagram bio, but it's only for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, the price goes back up to the $97 price, which is still great. If you missed it, and you're like, Deshone, I missed it, but I need these strategies. Listen, it's $70-something more. And the strategies you're going to use to save we can't even quantify it. We showed you earlier, somebody saved 25 grand off their price, almost 30 grand off her Mercedes. You've seen discounts of 6,000-7,000. You've seen ridiculous pay. It doesn't matter. The value you're going to get far outweighs the cost. And here's one thing. Financially wise people look at value. Financially foolish people look at cost. Let that sink in. Okay, those of you on YouTube and Facebook, I have a comment below for you. In that, we have a comment pinned. You can hit the link below. You'll see the 75% off. Now, make sure when you get your book at the 75% off, if you get there before the 30 minutes is up, make sure as soon as you purchase, it says screenshot the thank you page. You'll see I put on that page, your book is below. You can click it to open it immediately, save it to your phone, save it to your computer, and I also email you a copy. But I want you to screenshot that page so you can have my support team's email. Every now and then we get people that typing so fast, you actually type your email in wrong. And then you didn't save the book right there on the thank you page. So now, how am I getting my book? You got the support team's email. They're 7 days a week. Email, hey, I think I might have typed something wrong. I don't see my book. It's not in my spam folder. Get my team so we can get you the book immediately. So you can have these strategies, protect your family's money, shop with confidence, enjoy car shopping. I enjoy shopping. These people are like, enjoy. Look at what Adina said. Look at what Adina said at the end. She said, thanks to Sean. Hold on. Thanks to Sean for making the car buying process easy. And I want to upload this because it got cut off too. So I'm going to upload this. Thank you for making the car buying process easy. I want you enjoying car shopping. It's shit. You're about to spend a ton of money. Why should you dread? Look what she said. Last sentence. If you're on Instagram or if you're on YouTube, you can see it. So, all right, Dolan, next question. Let's fly through a couple more. We still got some more time. Come on, y'all, keep typing. Lilia, yes, we send emails out all the time. In fact, everyone who had the book, I literally sent a new copy out to everybody on our list. It was like 9,000 people, maybe a month ago. So, like, go through your email, check your emails from me, because we do that every now and then. Like, we'll literally just update the book and blast the new copy out to everybody who bought one. So check your email, check your spam. You know, I've sent you that book. If you purchased it last year, you've gotten the new book probably at least 2 times, 3 times. We've updated it and sent it out to everybody. Okay, Kevy Kev, good to see you. What are the basic pros and cons of leasing? I know nothing about it, but my husband's considering it. Good question. Let's talk about the cons of leasing first, because I speak a lot about the benefits. The cons of leasing are you always have a payment. Now, some people who buy cars and they always trade them in as soon as they pay them off, or they trade them in before they paid off, they replace them before they paid off. Like, you know, we had the young lady earlier on the stream. She said, I still owe $18,000. I'm about to go and buy another vehicle. So she's always used to a payment anyway. So that's a con. You're always going to have a payment. Another con is you can't beat the car up and not realize the losses. Now, let me be clear on this. People think when they own a car, they can do anything they want to it and not realize the losses. But I want to be clear. If you follow me, let's say a person buys a car, you own it, you put a lift on it, a big exhaust system, one of the big, you know, the joint is loud. You customize that car. Did you raise the value or lower the value of the car? Type it in. Type it in. Did you raise the value or lower the car? If a person does all of that stuff, customizes the car, did they raise the value or lower it? Thank you, Cam Newton. Lowered it. So let's say a person was going to sell a car and somebody looked at it and said, hey, how much is you going to pay? You know, they're going to pay $20,000 to buy your car. Now you're like, okay, perfect. Now you go and you do all of this stuff to it, put the engine, put the exhaust on it, boom. You come back 2 days later and you're like, hey, yeah, I want to sell you the car for 20. Now they hear that new exhaust. They hear all that stuff you put on. They're like, nah, I can't give you 20 for that. And that thing probably worth 16 now. I don't know what you do to it. So I'm trying to get you to see what I call the unseen expense. This is depreciation. Everything we talk about when we talk about leasing versus buying, we're taking into account how we're going to avoid major depreciation. But people who purchase don't often think that they don't actually understand that whatever they do to that car, if they drive 40,000 miles on it, they just lost money. If my car was worth 20 today and then I drive 30,000 miles this year, that car is going to be worth 10. I'm destroying the value. So you pay for it either way. So when I say that one of the cons of leasing is that you can't do anything you want to the car, well, you can't without paying for it, but you also can't when you own it without paying for it. But if you do that, you have to restore it to its original condition. Now, another kind of leasing is you have to be able to estimate around about how much you're going to drive. So people who are like doing Uber or something, you don't know how much you're going to drive. There's a reason I don't tell business people who do those types of businesses to lease, even though they're not keeping their cars a long time. There's a better structure for you guys. Leasing is not it, because you don't know how much you're going to drive. If you have a good year, you might do 40,000 miles. If you have a bad year or a rough year, you might do 20 or 18,000 miles. So you can't predict it. So with leasing, you have to have an enjoyable leasing experience. You have to have some type of an idea when you're going to, how much you're going to drive. Now, one of the biggest cons to leasing is you can overpay by a lot because it's not transparent. It's not transparent. Could everybody who shares, there are a couple people on here, you always share the broadcast. I appreciate you. We need you. Can you hit the share button, hit that arrow, hit that paper plane, and tag one friend in, just in case they might be going to the dealership tomorrow. We need to make sure that they have what they need to win. So shout out to the sharers. We can't do this without you. Now, when you consider that you can overpay, see, when you get a purchase deal, everything goes on that receipt, the buyer's order. You can plug that into a calculator and you can match those numbers up. You might not be used to doing it, but that bottom line price, you can plug that right into a basic auto loan calculator on hundreds of websites, and you can make sure that your payment matches. You can't do that with a lease. There's all types of potential to hide money in leases. You can hide money in the interest rate. You can hide in the money factor, because you can't use your own financing with a lease. You have to use whatever bank or leasing company the dealership who's running the promotion is using. So that gives us potential to be overcharged for our money factor or our interest rate. There could be rebates on that vehicle, $2,000, $5,000 rebates. Look, when Sean was shopping for his F-150, some of you have seen it. It was a $15,000 rebate, $15,500. He wouldn't have known about that if a dealer's not going to come in and tell him, hey, it's $15,500 rebate on this. No, some dealers might say nothing. They won't even mention it. They'll just try to negotiate. Hey, how much could you, they hoping you say something like this. Can you get me the invoice price? Can you get me to the invoice price? If I could get you the invoice price, can we make a deal today? Yeah, I always heard that, invoice price is a fair deal. Okay, no problem. Let me go get it. So they're not going to tell you anything about, hey, we got $15,000. He didn't ask about the rebates. He didn't ask nothing about rebate. He don't know anything about the rebates. Let's go take off $5,000, get him the invoice price. We're going to make $20,000 profit on this deal. So this is how it works. This is how it works. So with a lease, you could have the same types of incentives. And the thing about leasing is when you go from a finance to a lease, your payment is naturally going to be lower. Even if you get a bad deal, your payment's going to be lower. If you're used to buying $50,000 cars and paying $900 or $1,000 a month and putting 10 grand down, that same $50,000 car is going to lease out for like $800 with a bad deal. So people will walk in and think they won. Oh man, it's lower. It's lower than when I used to buy these. But you don't realize that, if this was a vehicle like Zafrina here, and look, this was a $60,000 vehicle, $65,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now that vehicle, she's paying $579 a month for, no money down. So you walk in and you get a vehicle like this, and you think, oh, they got me the lease at $800. It's a $65,000 vehicle. I had to win. No, you lost big time because there were so many rebates and incentives that you didn't understand were there, and there's no way you're going to get them to reveal them to you. The only way, and I've been in the car business since 2006. I left in 2020, and since then I've been helping people make deals around this country. The only way to reveal what all the rebates are is 2 words: multiple offers. It's the only way. You're never going to negotiate your way to finding out what all the rebates are, because one deal is going to tell you it's $3,000, another deal is going to tell you it's $5,000, another deal is going to tell you it's $8,000, another deal is going to tell you there's no rebates. That's why when we sit back and we get multiple offers from home using the strategies in my digital book that you'll have access to immediately. Those of you who got your book, I see a lot of you saying, got the book, got the book. All of this stuff is scripted out for you. Now, you could do it manually too. You want to call around the dealerships, ask for the sales manager, ask for a manager, try to bypass salesmen, because salesmen are trained to distract and waste time and make it hard, especially by phone. So if you want to try to do it manually, we must get 5 offers. New cars, leases, you must get 5 offers from 5 different dealers, because that's how different the offers are going to be. They're going to be major different, not close. Major. I always say if your offers aren't $500 aren't $150 to $200 a month apart, then you didn't shop correctly. Okay, go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question up. That's it, Kevin Kev. That's the pros and cons. Oh, let me hit on the pros. Hold on. Let me try to sum up the pros of leasing before we wrap this question up. Pros of leasing are when you get below market leases, you're driving new cars. Warranty cars, always under warranty in most cases. Something breaks, you call a dealership. Hey, this broke. Come on in, we'll fix it. You're under warranty. When you get below market leases, you're driving new cars for cents on the dollar. You're driving new cars and you're paying less than what people are paying to buy. Lots less of what people are paying to buy them new, and you're paying less than what people are paying to buy them pre-owned. Some of you've seen me do that scenario where I compare a new lease, below market lease, to a pre-owned version of that same car. Take that $65,000 vehicle that Zafrina got, $597 a month. If she found one for $30,000, half price. Let's just pretend, and this is to illustrate to you how drastic the difference between below market leases are and buying. It's not even close. It's nowhere near close. If she found a half price version of that vehicle, which won't exist, let's just say we made one up and just put it right here, half price. So that's $32,000 plus tax. She's around $35,000. Some of you know every $5,000 on a car payment is about how much per month. I mean, when you look at a car, every $5,000 on a loan is about how much per month. I told y'all, stay by the keyboard. We got to be quick here. This is active learning. You don't want to be distracted. You want to be locked in, active learning. Every $5,000 on a loan is about how much per month. Shout out to y'all running the likes up on TikTok too. Every time you double tap the screen, y'all just, yes, thank you, Cam New. See, I love the people that are locked in. I see you, Brenda, $100 a month. Yeah. Now, so we got $100 for every 5,000. So that means when you look at a $10,000 car, first thing in your mind should be that's $200 a month, 5-year loan. When you look at a $20,000 car, first thing in your mind, that's $400 a month, 5-year loan. When you look at a used car version, let's say she gets it for half off, $32,000 plus tax, she's around $35,000. What's that payment? $700 a month, 5-year loan. So when I tell you that when we're driving below market leases, we're paying less than what people are paying for pre-owned versions. I just took really on a $65,000 car, a decent pre-owned version will probably be 30% off, maybe 40% off. Then you're going higher. If you don't know how to get good deals, you're going to take one with high mileage. It's going to be old. So it's more realistic to find a $65,000 car, 3 or 4 years old for, let's say 35, let's say 40, really closer to 40 if it's 65 new. So now you're talking about $800 a month. So a person like Zafrina, she's driving, she knows how to get below market leases. She's driving a brand new $65,000 fully warranty version, not tying up her money in that vehicle. She's paying $597 a month, which is hundreds a month less than what a used car person is paying, and like $500-$600 less than what a new car person is paying. So it's no comparison. So when I tell you the only people who should be purchasing, you're like, Deshone, why do people purchase then? If getting great lease deals is so cheap, why do people purchase? Well, one, everyone doesn't know how to get below market leases. So they'll look at commercials and they'll think, oh, well, this says I got to give them $5,000 down plus tax and all that. That's not deals. That's above market value or market value. We don't pay those prices. And second is people who buy long term don't care about those short term benefits. I want to ask a question. Who on here has a vehicle in their driveway right now that you've had for at least 8 years? I want you to type how many years you've had it. Let me know how many. I see you, Sharon. Congratulations. Use it and win it. Let everyone who has a car outside in your driveway that you've had more than 8 years, I want you to type how many years old it is. 8, 10, 15. Okay, Harold, he has one for 9 years outside. Sugar Lump, 19 years. Mr. Living Right, 8 years. Perfect. Dwayne Perkins, I see you, 22 years. Look, Julia Murray, 16 years. Look, Brenda, 8 years. Now watch this. Ralph, I see you, 10 years. 8 years or more is when we buy. These people won. So you heard me just spend the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes talking about pros and cons of leasing, benefits of leasing. But these people are the real financial winners in the long run because the longer you keep a car, the less it costs you. I'm not a fan of people leasing who have the discipline to keep a car for 10, 15 years, 12 years. I would never tell people lease who's doing that. I'm trying to get the people who say, it's no way I'm keeping a car near that long. I've never done it. I don't enjoy it. I'm not going to do it. You are the people who should not be buying. Because the great thing about having a car 8 years is you'll see something. This is the depreciation cycle. This is how owners lose money on their leases, on their cars. When you purchase your car, one day when you buy it, it's worth this. 5 years down the line, it's worth this. 10 years down, 10 years, but here's the thing. After about 8 years, 7, 8 years, now the depreciation starts to level out. You're not losing that much money in depreciation anymore. Your car today, all of you who just typed, whatever your car is worth today, most likely it's going to be worth that next year too. If your car is worth $5,000 today, a year from now, it's going to be worth about $5,000. You beat depreciation. That's when it makes sense to purchase, when you have those values. These people, look, we call these cars keepers. When a transmission goes out on the car, you know what people who are not programmed, you're not a keeper, you know what you do? Transmission's out. You gotta go get a new car. When the transmission goes out for some of these guys, what are they doing? They go get another transmission, put it in the car. That's what you do. That's what you do. So there's two sides to be on. You're a long-term side. That means, like my dad, he bought a truck 2013. 6 years later, the engine went out. He got a used motor, put it in there. He's still driving it. He's about to sell it for a couple $1,000s now. He's had that car for over 10 years. But he's had no car payment on it for like probably 7 years. That's all money that stays in his household. Somebody asked the other day, hey, my car needs $3,500 in work. Should I go get a new car? I said, well, first of all, make sure you get a price from a second opinion from a local mechanic. You always get, for work, always get 2 opinions. But if it costs you $3,500, will that car ride smooth for the next 3 years, 2 years, 3 years? If the answer is yes, you need to understand something. If you go get another car to replace that car, it's going to cost you a minimum of $3,500 a year, and most likely more than that, $6,000, $7,000 a year coming out of your household. So do you want $3,500 one time and now I got no car payment, I keep my bills low? Or do you want to go get a new car payment that's $400 a month? Now what is that? $400 a month times 12, that's $4,800 a year for the next 5 years or whatever. The cost of replacement, guys, is always more than the cost of keeping that vehicle running. That's why you want to have that car paid off before the 10th birthday, and you want to set aside money for maintenance and repairs. Whatever you were paying on your car payment, $400 a month. All right, my car is paid off. Now take 100 or 200, put it into an emergency fund. So when that car breaks down or something needs, hey, no problem. It's in the emergency fund. But I'm keeping that car, because the longer I keep that car, the less money I pay for a car, the more money I keep in my household. So that's how you purchase, because you're buying a depreciating asset. You have to go long term with it. It's going to go down in value like this sharply for the first 5-6 years. It's going down, losing thousands. But once it levels out, that's when you really want to own it, because now we good. Things paid off. I ain't got to worry about it. But as soon as people come through that deep depreciation, that's when they go and trade the car in, and they do it all over again, over and over again. These are the people who I'm trying to get you to understand leasing. You're in the wrong structure. So it's very simple. You're not keeping your next car 8 years, you should be leasing, shopping for below market leases. You're keeping your next car at least 8 years, you're shopping for a below market purchase. And all of this is in my step-by-step book. This is the first step. Leasing versus buying. I call it the most important question. We got to put your deal on the right foundation, and then we go get a below market deal. So for everything I'm teaching right now is out of my new digital book. You can grab your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. If you want the entire blueprint, and you guys see the comments, you see the comments people making, man, get the book. Get the book. You see it. So you can go to, thank God we have approaching 10,000 people who have the book. Thank God. We are getting this in a lot of people's hands. People love the welcome offer. And the same people who are using it would look back and say, Deshone, I would have paid the $97 knowing what I know now and what I'm seeing in this book. But to get it at 75% off, $25, even more value. But it's only for 30 minutes. In my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, click that link that says 75% off. In my YouTube comments or Facebook comments, we have a comment pinned for you for your 75% off. But once that timer hits zero, guys, it does go back up to $97, which is the normal price. And it's worth every dime at $97. Okay, so get your copy. Make sure you screenshot the thank you page as soon as you purchase, and make sure you take a record of our support team's email, because sometimes you go and you type it in, you're like, I'm finally going to be able to enjoy car shopping. Man, I'm about to make the best car deal of my life. And you're so excited, you type your email incorrectly, and now it's wrong. And so we can't email you the book. Now, once you get the book, you're going to see, as soon as you pay for it, I say, open your book below. So there's a link right there on that page to actually open the book, and you can save it to your actual, phone. But I email you a copy too. And sometimes if your email's wrong, you're not going to get that email. So make sure you screenshot that page. It has my support team's email, or look at it right here. Look at it on the screen. Get the support team just in case. But that's not for questions. Do not email me any car buying questions to that. That's only for making sure your book gets to you. Okay? So I want you empowered. I want you making the best deals you've ever made. I'm just going to show a bunch of more people before we rock out. I didn't get a chance to get to everybody's deals that has sent me a deal in the last couple of days. I didn't get a chance. Ansley got his second vehicle. He said 2 down, 1 more to go for the year. He got this BMW truck. We showed Melissa. We didn't show American Senior Benefits. You guys can read this if you're on Instagram, on YouTube. You can pause that. But we'll go more detail on the second stream. Keep sending me your deals, because I told y'all I was going to bring them onto the show. And after you make your deals, email me. I want you guys proud of the deals you're making. I want you excited, not just about the car. Everybody gets excited about posting their cars. Everybody. You'll see that all through any social media platform. People get a new car, they want to take pictures of it, but they'll never show you the numbers. And you may have been this way, because secretly they're ashamed. The last thing they want is somebody who understands the numbers to look at that deal and be like, hey, did you see this? What's the $4,000 here? Did you see, how many offers did you get on this vehicle before you paid this price? Oh, no, I just thought they don't want that. I don't want you living like that. If you've done that before, I don't want you like that. I want you like all of these other people you're seeing posting your car deals, like Melissa, like American Soldiers Benefits, like like Ansley, this is the other car, like Rosalie, like Jen. Hold on. We do this all day long. Like Teddy, like Jared, like Zafrina, like Pierre. Numbers. That's what I want. And that's the confidence you will have after you get your book. So get it. If you do it your way, do it your way. God bless you. My way is no talking, right from home. That's why we call it Cars from Home. So I'm going to check out. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Share this with a friend. Before you jump off, share this with one friend that you're like, hey, I got somebody that my best friend, they need to see this, because we have to help people protect their money. If we don't get this message out, our friends are right now in dealerships right now overpaying. Okay, so God bless you all. I will see y'all on the next stream.